Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of Tru Offseason. We are here, we are live. We want to thank you all for joining us, whether you are joining us live, joining us on demand. Either way, we appreciate it. And we are here, as always, to discuss the offseason of the NFL. And you've seen our previews of the NFC and AFC South, the NFC and AFC East. And here we are to talk about the NFC and AFC West. And of course, when I say we, I'm talking about myself. I'm talking about Chase Oliver. Sir, how are you doing this evening?
Yeah, man. Talking about the best division, man. Where the Chiefs play. Let's go, man.
I'm excited, man. I know Romeo made the graphic because Lad McConkey made it, not Herbert. I know he loves McConkey. That's like Romeo's favorite non-Jet in the world is Lad McConkey. That's his
Lad McConkey.
Yeah, that's just. I think Lad is up there. Like, I think he's a beloved football player. He's white.
He's white.
Looks like a Funko Pop when he's out there.
That's true. That is true. So we got a few little news things actually to hit before we get into our preview. First and foremost, starting tonight, Hard Knocks. It's back. It's finally back. If you've been dying to hear Liev Schreiber narrate football training camp as pretty much the entire world has, you don't have to wait much longer. Starting tonight, Hard Knocks is back. Josh Allen. I'm sure we'll get some clips or some just random talking about the wedding and all that kind of stuff. But really quickly, is there anything that like you are most interested for this season of Hard Knocks? Because there's many options, but things can go either really well, really south, so on and so forth. What's the thing you're kind of like looking forward to the most?
Man, I'm excited just to see more Josh Allen because we don't really know too much about him besides he's a kid from Fireball, California. Kind of keeps his life a little private. I don't know. I just think it's interesting. I think Buffalo as a city is interesting. So I'm very interested in the city of Buffalo. I'm not like a New Yorker, but a lot of New York people don't even claim Buffalo. They treat it like it's part of Canada.
That's Canada.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. A lot of New Yorkers don't claim it as Canada, as New York. It's Canada, but yeah, I'm interested in the city. I'm just interested. They have some good personalities on there and stuff. Their first round pick, or no, their second round pick, the wide receiver from Florida State. He's funny, so I think he should make me laugh. So yeah, I'm excited. I think it's gonna be a good season. I love the theme music for Hard Knocks. The do 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 do. Yeah, I get hyped every time I see it, man. Every single time. So cannot wait. Should be a good season of Hard Knocks. I normally wait for like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
3 weeks, and then I go dive into the heart. Yeah, I like having at least 3 episodes that I can just like binge watch, and then I can just be all like, oh, okay, like this is cool and stuff. I feel like Netflix has ruined certain stuff for me. Like I like that I can just watch something in one day time, and I've
been talking about this with Sid on 2 different occasions. We were talking about the value of the old week by week, like when we were kids growing up, regular television. You saw one episode, you waited a week, you saw another episode, versus the ability to watch everything basically in one shot, which Netflix really pioneered.
Yeah,
became the norm. We were discussing it within the context of the Disney Plus MCU shows because they started doing like 3 episodes and then a break and then 3 episodes kind of thing. And you also see it with Netflix, like Stranger Things, Bridgerton, like they're starting to break things up now, mainly in order to, if they've noticed the trend of people subscribing just when a show is out, and watching it and then canceling the subscription. So that's how they're trying to combat that. And more power to them for trying to find ways to combat.
I still enjoy weekly television. I just think Netflix has changed how I consume. Like for me, like I watch anime, but like a lot of the times I'm like, I'm not waiting week to week. I'll just wait till the whole season's out, and then I'll binge watch it in like one day. But if it's an anime that I really love, I'll be like, yeah, I'll watch it weekly because the animators, they have to take time to animate the certain scenes and stuff. But yeah, I just think like a lot of TV shows nowadays, I'm just more of like, personally, just release all the episodes.
Yeah, like personally, I prefer all the episodes thing, but like I get where Sid was coming from because part of part of what the point he was making was the idea of the domination of conversation, right? So like if all 10 episodes of something come out, then it really just dominates the conversation for a week or maybe 2 weeks. Whereas if something is coming out more sporadically or on a delayed schedule, it has legs and it can be talked about a bit more. So
that's where I feel QBs gets kind of like it's like harder for, or like that starting 5 show Netflix did was like they released all the episodes at once, and it's like the people already have their clips by like day 1 and all the talking points. It's like over with. With Hard Knocks, every week there's like a talking point. Right. So like Hard Knocks, it's cool, and it's like a live perspective of a training camp. So that's why Hard Knocks is a little bit different. But I just prefer like, hey, can I just watch the next episode, and then I feel like okay, like I should have been doing something else with 3 hours of my life besides watching a football team that I'm not even like a huge fan of and stuff. So I'm excited to see Joey Bosa. Like, I wonder, he's gonna be as boring as he is. They went from the Chargers now. Super excited to be here in Buffalo. Great.
We also have some other big news to talk about. This is more on the business side of the NFL. Announced today, the ESPN is going to acquire NFL Network and other media assets from the NFL in exchange for the NFL receiving a 10% equity stake in ESPN. Now, for those who don't know, ESPN itself is a subsidiary of Disney. So the fact that they're gonna get that the NFL is getting 10% of ESPN, you have to know that Disney was like, all right, fine, we'll give you some equity, because Disney hates giving up any form of equity in their subsidiaries. But as part of this, it's going to include the entirety of NFL Network and certain other media assets owned and controlled by the NFL, including Red Zone and NFL Fantasy. And in addition to the sale of NFL Network, the NFL and ESPN are also entering into a second non-binding agreement under which the NFL will license to ESPN certain NFL content and other intellectual property to be used by NFL Network and other assets. That's probably more along the lines of tape libraries and things like that, certain documentaries that NFL Network's already produced and all that kind of stuff. And it's kind of similar in idea, well, sort of similar in idea to what's happening with the NBA on TNT, where the TNT is still producing it, but they are licensing it to ESPN. So technically speaking, you can make the argument that Chuck and all them and Shaq and Ernie and them and Kenny are not really ESPN employees, technically speaking, but realistically, if you think about it, they are. So it's going to change a lot of things, I think, because ESPN does have a history of kind of doing a level of in-shitification for a lot of their products. But, this is kind of the trend of seeing Disney kind of buying up things that they can get their hands on, but also the sort of consolidation. And this is just another way for Disney to increase the value, so to speak, of ESPN Plus and things like that. And then also to increase the cost what they charge people, as well as for the bundle of Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN Plus. So do you have any thoughts on this historic, at least for right now, we'll see how historic it is, but the purchase of NFL Network and Red Zone, which I think is the big one.
Yeah. Rest in peace, Red Zone. 7 hours of commercial-free football, no more, man. What a time to be alive. If Red Zone changed the way to watch football, like it really did. Like you were able to keep track of everything. You got to see every touchdown, every big play. Like the witching hour where wins becomes losses and losses become wins. And yeah, it just sucks a little bit. NFL Network was kind of like my go-to morning when I would want to watch like and stuff. I liked the crew there. I just thought they had like a good chemistry. I felt they did a good job too, especially like with the injuries and stuff. Like Fox, it took forever for Jay Glazer to tell me someone was hurt. Like Jesus Christ, just get to the point. Like I didn't need to hear Terry Bradshaw ramble and stuff. CBS was like my number one when I was growing up, but then when I got DirecTV, I would strictly be NFL Network. So it kind of sucks that it's now like going to be ESPN, and it's pretty much like what ESPN was. I mean, NFL was very bold when they started the NFL Network. They didn't think, they're like, how the hell do we make people care about football for like the whole 365-day calendar? And it worked out in their favor. But in terms of like content for the off season, you could tell they were just struggling, whether it's like Good Morning Football or any other show. And, you know, they stopped doing all their documentaries. They kind of burned those out. Like, they're doing football lives for players that were still playing. Like, I was just like, what the fuck? You're doing a football life on Kyron Williams? This guy is not retired. He just it's his second year in the league. Like, what are we doing here? So, yeah, it seemed like it ran its course, and this was more of like, hey, NFL Network's like, hey, we gotta find a way to, you know, make it where we are still profitable doing all these shows, the live shows and stuff. They're not going to be profitable doing that and stuff. In terms of content, it just kind of sucks because it's just like now ESPN has all the content. I wonder how they're going to handle Red Zone. I hope it's something that's a part of ESPN Plus. Like, that should be something that
I think it will be.
I think that immediately
I would think they would. I would think they would try to find a way to paywall Red Zone as quickly as possible.
Yeah, like, look, I'm a sucker. I'll still pay my whatever money that I pay for Sunday Ticket. I think it's the most valuable thing as a football fan for me. I do not care how much money I pay for it every year. I love the fact I can watch any game. I love the fact that I get Red Zone. It's on YouTube, so it makes it even better that I can watch it on YouTube, which is the app I use the most. So I'm a sucker. Like, I already know Sunday Ticket's going to charge $134 on my credit card in like a month, and I'm okay with it. Let me see what it's going to actually charge me, so that way I can make that credit card payment on time.
But while Chase looks up the increasing cost of NFL Sunday Ticket,
that's worth it.
I mean, I don't doubt it. I don't get it, but I don't doubt it.
I got it because my friend was in college, so she made a YouTube account for me just so that way I could get it in college. So I have like this super duper cheap price compared to like someone paying like a gajillion dollars for it and stuff like that. Yeah, I only pay $122 for the whole year.
Yeah, because the season pass on YouTube TV or YouTube Prime channels is $276. So, and if you want Red Zone with it, the price is $318. So, yeah, you're getting a deal there, sir. But you know, somebody else who's getting a deal is also, as it so happens, Chase Oliver. Because the last piece of news that we have, technically, I wanted to lead with the NFC West and then the AFC West. So we'll be circling back to this in a few moments. But reunited, and it feels so good. Look, they didn't. This is such great Photoshop. Like, they barely even needed to. Whoever did this barely needed to do anything, because Keenan Allen has signed a 1-year deal with the Los Angeles Chargers. He is back in powder blue or baby blue, and you know, that's a wonderful thing for Keenan Allen, for the Chargers. First they had Mike Williams that they brought back, and then he retired, and now they are bringing in Keenan Allen, and hopefully he won't retire on you guys. But he's going to be back with the Chargers, and I know we'll get further into it when we talk about the Chargers and the AFC West and all that kind of stuff. But how do you feel with Keenan Allen returning 1 year, $8.5 million?
Man, what a steal, man. We straight up traded Keenan Allen for a fourth round pick. That fourth round pick actually was used in the trade with the Patriots. So we could trade with the Patriots to get Ladd McConkey. So we replaced Keenan Allen with Ladd McConkey, and Ladd had a great rookie season. And now we get Keenan Allen back. He got paid. He's happy. He's back in LA, where he never wanted to leave anyways. And he's filled the void of what's missing for the Chargers, which is like what Mike Williams is supposed to be. Mike Williams is supposed to be the veteran wide receiver. He ended up retiring. Is what it is. Shout out to you, Mike. Mike Dub, do your thing. But Keenan Allen being back makes me very happy. It's a reliable target for Herbert to trust on third down. It was something that was missing when Ladd would get taken away from Justin Herbert. He didn't really have anyone that he trusted. Now he has a guy in Keenan Allen who he has a lot of trust into. As guys like Trey Harris, KLS, they kind of form into their own into that receiving room.
Yeah, I'm, you know, as a guy who, you know, and almost every week it seems I'm talking about the idea of a veteran presence and somebody who can teach other people. having someone like Keenan Allen do that role, play that role for Ladd McConkey, for Quentin Johnson. Hopefully, he learns a little bit more.
I forgot he's in the receiver. Are you sure about that? He's around. He still exists.
But for Trey Harris and Keandre Lambert-Smith, that's going to be really, really beneficial for them. But we'll get into that further when we get into the Chargers and the AFC West. For right now, let's turn a little bit. Let's shift our focus. We're going to stay in the West, obviously, but we're going to switch conferences. We're going to go over to the NFC, and we're going to talk about a division that had a lot of things change this offseason as a result of some interesting things that happened during the season. So let's take a look at what the season was. You had San Francisco coming in at 6-11 after a series of injuries completely racked them, completely racked the roster. And they had a lot of difficulties in fielding. I don't want to say a competent team because they were competent on many different levels, but a championship level, a contender competent team. They had some tough times doing that between the injuries to Brandon Ayuk, the injuries to Deebo Samuel, and then on defense, they lost people as well. But Kittle missing a couple games here and there, the largest and most understated injury, of course, Christian McCaffrey. Yeah. People had very high expectations for Christian McCaffrey coming into the season. A lot of people took him first overall in redraft fantasy or used him as huge bargaining chips in Dynasty if you're trying to make trades.
I believe.
And, coming into training camp, the rumor was that he was a little banged up still, but that he would be ready for week 1. And Kyle Shanahan maintained that he would be ready for week 1. And then lo and behold, he was not playing week 1. And basically it was a lost season for him, and in certain respects it was a lost season for the Niners as well. And because of that, they had to make a lot of different changes. On top of that, they needed to get Brock Purdy paid, which they did, but they had to make some sacrifices elsewhere, including trading Deebo Samuel to the Washington Commanders. They were unable to retain the services of Talanoa Hufanga and Dre Greenlaw in free agency, who are now Denver Broncos. There was a lot of different changes that happened this past offseason for the Niners. So let's get into it and see who exactly is a San Francisco 49er. Now you can see some people there are in red because they are still considered injured. They're coming into this right now with Brandon Ayuk on the PUP. Juwan Jennings is questionable. They tried to add a few pieces here and there in free agency where they could spend money, but they also did some interesting things in the draft, including adding Michael Williams. And that is somebody who we're going to really need to produce kind of, I don't want to say out the gate, but almost kind of out the gate, because they are a bit of an aging defense. They are a bit of an aging team. And yes, you still have the Nick Bosas of the world and the Fred Warners of the world, but injecting youth into that team is going to be very, very important. And you have Ricky Pearsall, who survived a terrible shooting attempt on his life when he was being robbed last season, and he comes back during the season and just towards the tail end starts lighting it up. So hopefully that will work out well for them. But they've also tried to bring in more receiving talent, particularly this year in the draft, in the form of Jordan Watkins, and they're hoping that Jake Cowing can take a step forward. So on a team that has a lot of question marks, because yes, right now, Christian McCaffrey, you can see there, it's in blue. We don't fully know if we're going to get Christian McCaffrey of 2022 and 2023. So what are your question marks regarding this roster? Because for me, it's definitely going to be whether or not this defense can continue to play at the level that it needs to play to get the ball back in Brock Purdy's hands.
Yeah, the D line is my main question mark. Not long ago, they had Buckner. They had the other guy from Oregon that was also really good. I forgot his name. They had Bosa as a rookie. They had another defensive end that was a beast. Like the Niners, like from when I'm growing up and everything, they always had like a killer defensive line, just a killer pass rush. And it's just Nick Bosa and a bunch of guys that need to prove themselves. And a lot of guys that need to prove themselves. They went heavy onto the defensive line in this draft. And they better hope they turn out because trading Buckner. Why am I drawing a break on the other guy? He was also an Oregon defensive tackle. He played well for them. He went to the Jaguars. That's all I remember his name and stuff like that. DeForest Buckner, and he was drafted a year before Buckner, I want to say. Why am I drawing a break on him?
Armstead.
Yeah, Armstead. Yeah, Armstead. Eric Armstead, very great player. So yeah, no, it's just they just need that defensive line to step up. You're not going to win, especially in the NFC, with poor defensive line play. I'm not worried about the offense. Like it's Shanahan. He has his first 25 plays scripted. I'm not worried about CMC. He's back. He's gonna every Sunday. I'm just gonna bet. And in fact, I'm happy because now
you're saying that because you drafted him high in the dynasty.
No, right? Yeah.
When we did the startup.
It's okay. It's not a big deal. What I'm trying to say is that Christian McCaffrey, anytime touchdown, 2+ touchdown, 3+ touchdown bets are back, baby, and I'm happy. And the odds will not be as high. I'll walk out of work, and I'll say, "Wow, I just won $400. I'm happy." So yeah, no, McCaffrey's back. Purdy, I think, is going to play well. The receiving room, that's another question mark that they have going on because like Ayuk, we don't like. Is he going to even play for these guys? Like I don't even know if he's willing to play for them. Like he doesn't seem like he's down to play. Jawan Jennings' name has been kind of floated around in like trade talks, but there's like no one. I'm looking at these receivers. I'm like, bro, there's like Demarcus Robinson, like Jordan Watkins. Okay, Russell Gage is still playing football. Like who knew this? And then Amon-Ra St. Brown's brother, like what do you do? Isaiah Hodgins, like. Yeah, Robbie I see Robbie.
I was about to say,
yeah, this is just a mess of a receiving room. So those are my question marks. Like everything else, like the whole line also needs to step up too. Like they did have a down year for their standards. But other than that, man, like I believe in Kittle. I believe in Purdy. I believe in McCaffrey. I know Nick Bosa. He's amped up. He's going to be so much more excited to win now that Trump's in office, and he cannot wait to give him the flag. But yeah, the Niners, they should be happy that they reached this level because they're gonna have such an easy schedule, and it's gonna just lead them to much more success, in my opinion. So yeah, I think they're fine because their schedule's gonna be mad easy compared to like they're gonna face all the other fourth place NFC teams. Like, okay, cool, have fun beating up on the Giants. Like that's
awesome. Let's take a look at that schedule.
Like, look at this. What a joke.
This is a pretty not difficult schedule. I mean, like there's some key games there that you got to win. Like you got to win that Buccaneers game. You got to win the Rams games for sure. Yeah, dude, and you got a little bit of challenge.
The hardest NFC team they facing are the fucking Buccaneers and the Rams. Oh my god, this schedule's like. And they face the AFC South? Like, what the? Oh, my God, bro. Like, this is like, yeah, if the Niners don't, and I'm saying this, they don't get 10 wins off the schedule, there are some concerns, bro. This schedule is just, oh, my goodness.
It is pretty easy when you think about it. Like, yeah, you got to go at Buccaneers, you got to go at Texans, but then, like, you get to go to at Giants. Like, that's not going to be that hard. You get to beat up on the Cardinals a little bit. You get to face the Panthers, who are hopefully by week 12 they've figured things out. The Panthers, not the Niners, because if they haven't figured things out by week 12, I feel bad for your boy Bryce, and I feel bad for Ted McMillan because he's going to be waiting on another quarterback.
Call him that. Why do you keep calling it? His mom's going to get mad at us, bro.
Tetaroa McMillan.
Yeah, thank you. I don't want his mom like finding a way. I heard you guys were calling him Tet. We either call him Lanu or Tetorio McMillan.
I will say in the first 6 games, they do have a little bit of some competition. You have this new look Seahawks.
We're not doing this.
This new looks, but think about it. You have this new look Seahawks.
They're going to face Tyler Shough or Spencer Rattler.
Wait. Hold on. You got to look at what's coming down the pipeline with BTJ, Travis Hunter, Trevor Lawrence. There's a little bit of challenge there. Then you gotta go to the Rams' house, SoFi Stadium.
That's the Niners' house when they're there. So a lot of people don't know this. So only for the Rams games.
This was my setup for you to tell the story.
So the Chargers don't even do this, but for the Rams, if you are going to sell tickets to a Niners fan, they actually make you answer a questionnaire to make you to solidify that you're a Rams fan before the tickets can get sold.
Crazy work.
Yeah, this is. Yeah, like when you're gonna ask me, Chase, what game is important? It's a Tampa game. Everything else, I'm like,
It's a Tampa game. Yeah.
I don't think Houston. Like, if they beat Houston, cool, but it's like, Jesus, this is such.
Well, it's more. No, it's more. It's not if they beat Houston. It's more if they lose to Houston.
Yeah.
That's really the question, because if you lose to Houston, and I'm not saying that Houston is this like world beater team, but they're a pretty solid squad.
D'Amico's gonna know what Shanahan runs. He was like his.
But that's what I'm saying. This idea of will the Niners be back, so to speak, right?
Well, like Shanahan runs the same 25 plays all the time. D'Amico Ryan's gonna be like, this idiot doesn't change anything. Watch play call number 5. It's the reverse.
I am intrigued, depending on how the two respective teams look by that Week 17 Bears game. That one does look interesting to me, simply because we will know by Week 17 what's the story with Caleb, and whether or not Ben Johnson can really work with Caleb Williams or not. They will have had, in essence, a full season together by then. So we'll that's going to be something that interests me. But I generally agree with your point there about like this should be a pretty straightforward season for the Niners to get back on track. And hopefully they continue to try to inject youth into that team in 2026, because
sometimes guys, it's good when you're a good team and you just suck for 1 year.
Yeah, you get the player,
you get schedules like this, where it's just like,
and you get to get like somebody like Michael Williams.
Yeah, like sometimes it's good. Like just be ass for 1 year. Just be like, yeah, you know what? It's okay. We stink for 1 year. How the fuck did you get in my room? All right, my dog's in my room. I don't know how it got in there.
Braun Breaker.
Yeah, this is Thanos.
No, but I'm saying he's chilling. He's trying to figure out your where your loyalties lie.
No.
Dogs are out all the time, but
yeah,
you're more of a big dog, more of a tribal chief guy.
Yeah,
but
we don't call him the big dog. What the fuck is this? That's in the past. Like, you don't do that at all.
Hey man, I saw him get speared on Monday Night Raw. And his shoes got jacked again.
This is some AI that you've been watching, because that did not happen at all.
But let's move from the Niners to a team that you would not have expected.
Sorry, Niners fans. You guys just have an easy-ass schedule. What do you talk about? Like, that match with Cleveland, it's going to be so interesting. Shador plays.
Hey, did you hear he's going to be playing?
Yeah, I'm pissed. Our boy Dylan Gabriel should be the starter. This is ridiculous. Justice for Gabriel, buddy. Come on, Sean. That's our quarterback. Our shared quarterback, Dylan Gabriel, man.
But let's talk about the team that came in third in the NFC West, and this is, of course, the Arizona Cardinals with an 8-9 season.
Surprisingly.
Yeah, a very, very up and down season for the Cardinals. They, go ahead and make Marvin Harrison Jr. the first wide receiver taken off the board in the 2024 draft. They had their choice. They had Marvin, they had Rome, they had Malik. I mean, they could have stunned everybody and gone BTJ. They had so many options. We all kind of knew that they were going wide receiver, and we all kind of knew they were going Marvin Harrison Jr. What we did not all know was that they would fail to use Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yeah, you would think Marvin Harrison Jr. was ass. Like, you would be like, oh, he stinks.
The wild thing of it is that if you look at like dynasty subreddits, there was conversations during the season about whether or not Marvin Harrison Jr. was a bust. Now, here's the crazier part of this is that if you look at his actual stat line, it's not bad at all.
No, he had a good season for not being targeted. That's for sure.
It's not like we as a fantasy community are so spoiled by the first season of Jamar Chase, the first season of Justin Jefferson, and all these players that it's just like, oh, you don't get like 1,300 or 1,200 yards, you're terrible. He gets 116 targets, 62 receptions, 885 yards, 8 touchdowns. Like, in any respects, that's a strong debut season. When you consider the fact that from a team perspective, he is the second most targeted person. Trey McBride The tight end is the most targeted person.
I felt Trey McBride was getting the ball every 5 seconds. I felt like a lot of times, like those plays that the Cardinals do would just be a quick pass to McBride.
Yeah, so like if you wanted to describe the Cardinals offense in 2024, it was first down, we're going to run with James Conner. Second down, we're either going to run with James Conner or we're going to throw to Trey McBride. Third down, we're going to pretend that we're going to throw to Marvin Harrison so that the defense looks like they're going to cover him, but then we're actually going to throw to Trey McBride. Yeah. Like that really was their offense. So let's take a look and see if they have decided to add anybody to the roster that will allow them to do anything different when it comes to this season, this upcoming season. And this is a situation where they added mainly on defense, and that was also an argument that the Cardinals needed to do. They needed to really help out that defense, and so they go and they add guys in free agency, and then when it comes to the draft, they also do what they can there with the draft. But I think they traded out of their it was Walter Nolan, D tackle from Ole Miss.
Yeah,
and why is he not? Oh, they have him as a second string. Gotcha, because they bring in Clay Campbell and all that. All right, cool. But you try to go defense heavy with the draft, similar to what the Falcons did, but not as ambitious as the Falcons did, like trading back up into the first round. But between getting Walter Nolan, Will Johnson, Jordan Birch on edge, Cody Simon, Denzel Burke, they don't take in any form of an offensive player until the 6th round, where they add in Hayden Conner, a guard from Texas. So this is a team that really understood that they need to get better on defense if they're going to be competitive. The belief really being that they can figure out this Marvin Harrison Jr. scheme issue and also figure out what's going to happen with Kyler Murray. Now, a lot of people also were expecting that last year was going to be the fall-off year for old man James Conner, and somehow, some way, he continues to prove people wrong. And as a result, people had high hopes for someone like Trey Benson. And Trey Benson is somebody who is definitely going to have to step up more because of just the fact that Conner is getting older. Now, is this going to be the year where Conner finally does fall off the running back cliff? That's going to be tough to tell. But they didn't really do much to address the running back room. So they believe, and I mean, you would argue that the people in the building with James Conner have the best idea about the health of James Conner, that Conner will be good throughout the entire season. So my question here is, they were an 8-9 team in a division where the division winner last year was 10-7. So they weren't that far off, technically speaking, from winning the division. Who are the people that you feel either need to step up or will step up this season to try to get them back into the playoffs?
Man, it's that whole defense. It's not just one or two people, man. Like Max Melton needs to step up. He's a guy that they drafted high in the 2nd round, and he hasn't been particularly good as like their top cornerback in the league, or their top cornerback. Yeah, they went really heavy on defense, huh? Like
they really did. Like when you look at it, it's like at first you don't think about it like, oh, like the process of free agency. You're like, okay, they signed this person. Oh, then the draft comes. You're like, oh, they drafted this, draft that. But then once you actually see it, it's like, oh, those are a lot of new names.
Yeah, like Gannon, he was a DC for the Eagles. Like he knows what he's doing. So he's trying to get the right pieces for his defense, and hopefully, like he can see results. He built up depth on the defensive line. He brought in veterans like Tomlinson and Calais Campbell, who was like a Cardinals legend at one point, went to the Baltimore for a little bit, went to Jacksonville and stuff. But yeah, they just need their secondary to step up. Buda Baker is one of the best safeties in the league, but like we need to see more from everyone else on that defense. Like Jalen Thompson needs to step up. Same with Max Melton, as mentioned. Garrett Williams needs to step up. Like those guys just need to step up. Offensively, we just need Kyler not to be an idiot for like a little bit.
That's what I wanted to ask you about. It's like we are now, because we're now, I think, 3 years into this new Kyler deal. And so his cap hit, like last year, was $49 million. His cap hit this year is 43, next year 53, and then 43. And they have a potential out. And if they don't take the out, it's the club option in 2028 will be 46. Like, do you feel as though the Cardinals have some form of buyer's remorse?
Yeah, I would a little bit. Like Kyler Murray, it's like one of those guys, like he's one of those guys where it's like he's good to have on your team because you know that like whatever merchandise you put on him, people are going to buy. His jersey's number one. He's a quarterback. It's one of those where it's like Kyler Murray. He was never like on the level of like the Trevor Lawrence hype, but people thought if you got a guy like Kyler Murray, that your team would be competitive. And it's just like Kyler just has games where he can look like, oh wow, this is why you get a guy like Kyler Murray. Like Kyler Murray's like if Johnny Football didn't party. Like this is what Johnny Football would have been in the league. And it's like Kyler is just he's just Kyler. Like, you know, he's more worried about Call of Duty, double XP weekend and stuff. And bro,
I remember
he was doing vlogs. His breakfast is nasty. Like he eats pancakes with eggs, steak, and bacon.
That's not that disgusting.
No, dude, he puts the pancakes with the steak sauce.
Okay, no, that's disgusting.
Yeah, dude, it's like some Patrick Mahomes ketchup shit.
That's disgusting.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. He's a weirdo. But yeah, no, like he just needs to step up. Like that's just it. Like, you know, he can be a top 10 quarterback in the league. And I truly believe that he has the arm talent for his size. The way he throws the ball, it's like Jesus. Like he's an underrated thrower. It's just I don't know. Like sometimes he'll get the ball, and then for whatever reason he spazzes out and he starts running around like Stewie Griffin, and you're just like, dude, why are you running like an idiot? Like just stay in the pocket.
Yeah, it is a very interesting situation because I remember when that Kyler deal happened. It was the same year that the Russell Wilson trade to Denver happened, and then Denver gave him the contract too. And I remember saying that the Kyler deal didn't make sense to me simply because he had not proved that he was worth that much amount of money. Now, Russell had at least proved that he was worth that kind of money. As it turned out, he had fallen off a bit of a cliff and was no longer worth that amount of money. But at least on paper, you could argue that Russell was. With Kyler, I just didn't see it. And now we're a couple of years removed from when that happened. And it's just like, guys, what is the game plan here for what happens if he continues to not get the job done? You're paying him this much amount of money. Now, granted, the salary cap going up and quarterbacks now making 50 to 55. We have Dak making 60 this year. Like it looks cheaper than it is, right? But at the same time, as it's still a large, huge chunk of.
I think it's worse because it's all guaranteed. It's all guaranteed.
All guaranteed.
Yeah,
right.
It's not. There's no out. Like Dak, at least there's an out. Trevor Lawrence is at least an out. There's no out for Kyler Murray. Like you just have to tell a team, hey, you want to take on his contract?
Yeah.
That's like there's no like, oh, we can cut him and we'll have like 20 million in dead cap.
And I think that's not to get like that far off topic, but I think that's the drawback of the run first mobile quarterback. If they don't figure out how to be a very good pocket passer or at least be accurate, right? Once you pay them the money, if you can't get them to improve further beyond basically what they came in the league as, you're stuck with them for the duration of that contract, and it's just going to suck. And you're potentially going to waste the at least the early years of somebody like a Marvin Harrison Jr., where if it by the time Kyler's contract is up, it's 2028. That's when Marvin's contract's going to be coming due. Like he's going to want to renegotiate there. So either you're going to be exercising that fifth-year option on Marvin Harrison Jr. with a little bit of uncertainty as to who's going to be throwing him the ball in 2028 or 2029. And at the same time, you have to figure out, again, who's going to be throwing the ball. So it is a bit of a weird mess, but we'll say this. Running quarterbacks or run first quarterbacks, mobile quarterbacks, can absolutely excel when you have a very strong defense. So if this defense can turn things around, it'll be a lot easier for the Cardinals to figure things out. So let's take a look at the schedule and see what they're going to have to deal with. Now, very similarly to the Niners schedule, they're playing a lot of the same teams. This is the same division, of course, but they have a few little sneaky, more difficult teams to face. You do have to face the Packers. You do have to face the Cowboys in Dallas. You do have to face the Bengals towards the end of the season in Cincinnati. So I think I'm not saying this is like a make or break year for Kyler, and if you wanted to, that's completely fine. But what are the games that kind of stand out to you from this perspective of this was a team that really could have just won the division outright last year, and they were not that far away from doing it. So what are the games that kind of stand out to you from the perspective of how do we get Arizona back on track?
I say Indianapolis is one of those games. I could see it where the just based on how they're starting, they're going to start 2-0. Maybe they beat San Fran to 2-1, beat Seattle 3-1, beat Tennessee to 4-1, and then you face the Colts. I know they're not a division game, but that's a team you should beat. But we've seen this with the Cardinals. They should beat the teams they should beat, and they lose, and then they win against the teams they have no business beating.
Yeah.
But that Colts game, I'm looking at that, and I'm saying, man, if you really want to start hot and you want to get ahead, because you know the Rams are going to have a harder schedule, you know that the Seahawks, they're still kind of like in a weird flux of what they have going on. This is your chance to take advantage. Get a good start. San Francisco's schedule we talked about, it's a cupcake schedule. But if you go into Indianapolis and then playing Green Bay right after and you lose to the Colts, and then you have to travel back home to face the Packers, you got to beat the Colts, man. What a game. Big Tony versus Kyler. Can't wait. But yeah, no.
Somebody's getting hurt.
I love it. But no, yeah, I think it's like that Colts game. That's like a big game early in the season just to show hey, we're good and stuff. I know people are going to say the Cowboys game, and I guess the Packers is also kind of important too. But I look at this and I'm like, man, that game against the Colts, that's a game you should win. You should win that game because, and especially if I'm predicting that they could start at worst 3-2, you definitely got to win that game. So that way you can stay above 500. You can be 5-2, and challenge for a wild card in the NFC. Because they do those tiebreakers where it's like, oh, your AFC opponents, did you beat them and stuff? And I look at all their other AFC opponents, and I'm like, yeah, they could beat all the rest of the AFC teams they have to face, besides maybe the Bengals. But who knows where we're at by that point, week 17? Maybe, I don't know. No, knowing the Bengals, they're fighting for a wild card spot. So yeah, they have to win that game.
But let's look at a team that was also fighting for a wild card spot and was also fighting for the division all the way kind of up until the very end. This was the Seattle Seahawks, because last year the Seattle Seahawks were also 10-7. The Rams were 10-7, and the Seahawks were 10-7. And the Seahawks got eliminated from the playoffs due to, in essence, strength of victory. They couldn't, because if they had just taken out the division from the Rams would have gotten kicked out, because the Packers ended the season 11-6. So it was really a situation that came down to that strength of victory. And to your point about tiebreakers and all the different math and analytics that come into making the determination as to what's going to be the situation for the team in the playoffs. So let's take a look. I mean, this was a Seahawks team that, man, there was a lot of change, a lot of upheaval. The first thing that we have to cover, the trade. They lose Geno Smith to the Raiders in a trade that was very lopsided in favor of the Raiders. They didn't have to give up that much. Then they traded wide receiver DK Metcalf, kind of the star piece of the offense when it came to receiving talent. They traded him to the Pittsburgh Steelers. They released Tyler Lockett, who is, he's older, but maybe you could say he's lost a step, but there was still some real juice in Tyler Lockett, the ability to get downfield and play a great complementary role to JSN. He gets signed by the Titans, and now it's a situation where JSN is the wide receiver one for the team. So the question is going to be whether or not he can do it. But to help with those issues, they sign Cooper Kupp from the Rams. Now, Cooper Kupp is a great wide receiver. Has a Super Bowl ring, won a Triple Crown. You can make the argument that he is borderline Hall of Fame worthy. But part of what allowed Cooper Kupp to do a lot of those things was the mind meld that he had with Matt Stafford. Now he has to develop a new mind meld. And the question is, who is going to be throwing him the ball, because it's not Matt Stafford, and it's not Geno Smith either. It's actually Sam Darnold. So Sam Darnold comes over in free agency from the Minnesota Vikings after having a good year, a really great year for Sam Darnold. The question there being whether or not Sam, whether it's KOC calling the plays, whether it's having Justin Jefferson to throw to, and Hawkinson and Addison and all that kind of stuff. Here, he has a pretty damn good cast of characters to play with. Like, you've got JSN, you've got Cooper Kupp, you've got K9, you've got Charbonnet. Your tight end room, it's a little up in the air because they released Noah Fant, who signs with the Bengals, but they have AJ Barner, who they have high hopes for. They also add in the draft Elijah Arroyo. This is a team that is definitely in flux. They also draft Torrey Horton to potentially challenge Marquez Valdes-Scantling. I don't think it's going to be that difficult for him to do it. If you can't challenge MVS at MVS's age and so on and so forth, you got some issues. But this is a defense that they really need to pick up the pace on, because we can make the argument that San Fran was decimated with the injuries, but we also saw San Fran do very well against this Seattle defense last year in a situation where Seattle did not have to contend with Christian McCaffrey and Ayuk. So who are the people that really stand out to you as people that this team really can build around for a potential return to the playoffs? Because starting off, you know
the answer.
Who's the answer?
Come on, man. Let a naysayer know. My dog, Milroe, bro. Jalen Milroe. No, let's stop it now, man. Milroe is a stud, man. This depth chart is not correct. He has surpassed Drew Lock, Jalen Milroe as QB2 so far, man. So he's surging in training camp, man. I do have high hopes for Jalen Milroe. I like the two backs team that they have with Charbonnet and Kenneth Walker. I'm a sucker for teams with two really good running backs. I think it's fun. I think it's great when you have two running backs. It just makes the game more fun. But yeah, that receiving room is kind of rough. Cooper Kupp, like, I love him. It's like I'll always draft him in fantasy no matter what. But yeah, it's kind of rough at this age. Valdes-Scantling, like, how many chances is this guy gonna get? Like, before you guys just realize he's no, for real. He keeps getting chance after chance. It's like, Jesus, man. Like, let it go. Give up. The hope's not there. But it's going to be exciting to see Jackson Smith-Njigba actually be like the true wide receiver one. At one point, he was dominating college football, and a lot of people were saying he was going to be one of the best in the league. And unfortunately, he got drafted to Seattle, and I think it's also going to be the same situation for an all-college teammate of his that's in Tampa Bay, where it's going to take a while before he becomes the guy. Now we finally get to see if Jackson Smith-Njigba is ready to be the guy 2 years, entering his third year in the league. I love those pickups of Ricky White and Torrey Horton, just two guys that I like from watching their respective teams in UNLV and Colorado State. I felt Torrey Horton could have went in the third round his junior year, but he decided to stay. Defensively, I just think it's just like they're still waiting on one guy to really step up and do something. Like, they just haven't been able to find that guy. Like, Uchenna Nwosu had a great season for them a couple years ago, and they thought, here's our centerpiece of defense. And then up and down. Like, just hasn't turned out. Byron Murphy, a lot of people have high hopes for. Really, really hyped him up. Leonard Williams is a guy they also has played well for them in flashes, but they just need that guy to just step up. Someone to step up. Someone to bring something. Witherspoon is a guy that they have high hopes for too. It's just a lot of potential. Just a lot of potential, especially on the defensive side of the ball. But can they live up to that potential of what we think they can be? That's the main question. Offensively,
it's a good secondary. And you would think that with a good secondary, you can get pass rush because you're able to lock down some of those wide receivers. And I think that's why they
haven't met this team, bro.
Well, I think that's why they brought in DeMarcus Lawrence to say, all right, let's try to get some of this rushing attack going, this pass rush attack.
Yeah, DeMarcus Lawrence, he had a good bounce back season after beating out the Wash allegations, but you gotta do more than DeMarcus Lawrence. So, come on, man.
But let's see. Let's take a look at the schedule and see how difficult it may be for the Seahawks to pull that off. this is a little bit tougher. This is a little bit tougher, you know. You got the Niners, then you got to go to Pittsburgh. Then you just like everybody else in the division, you're gonna have to play Tampa and Houston. You're at the Commanders. That's going to be an interesting one to watch. From just the ability of Jaden Daniels to move the ball very well. It's going to be a strong test for that defense because the Commanders' defense was sneaky good, but it wasn't like anything that great. So will you be able to score and go punch for punch? The Bengals thought they could last year, but we saw how that one worked out. But after that, it does kind of peter off a little bit. You do have that Vikings game. Maybe the Falcons, figure things out with Penix. We covered the NFC South a couple weeks ago, but this is a schedule that looks like it's kind of doable, but there will be some challenging games. So what I want to know from you is what's that game in like late November, early December where we're going, okay, Seattle really is in the hunt for the division or at the very least a wild card spot.
Minnesota. They have to beat the Vikings.
Got to be.
Yeah, but
especially that Sam Darnold.
When does Milroe take over? That's what I'm feeling, bro. After they lose to Minnesota, Darnold throws like 4 interceptions that game. At the Falcons, Kirk Cousins, he's like on the sideline. He's all like, "Hey Sam, it ain't fun, is it? Oh man, getting replaced by a younger quarterback." I think Milroe starts week 14. My dog.
Week 14, you're thinking Milroe?
Yeah.
That'll be interesting to watch. That'll be interesting to see because a lot of people have some expectations for Milroe, but I don't know. Why didn't he get drafted higher?
Teams are just afraid of what Milroe could unleash. Like they just don't understand. They're naysayers. That's what you don't understand.
To quote Pat McAfee, that's not. I don't think that's what that stands for. I don't think that's what that says.
Yeah, that's what the N stands for. What do you think the N does stand for? What are we talking about here? It's naysayers. Let a naysayer know.
Let's talk about the division leaders, the defending division leaders. We are, of course, talking about the Los Angeles Rams. And the Rams, another team that went through a bit of upheaval. We covered the big piece for them. The big cause of that upheaval was the release of Cooper Kupp to allow him to potentially find greener pastures, which it appears he may have done in Seattle. Seattle has green and blue, and Rams have blue but no green, so greener pastures. But this is a team that really is trying to do what they can with the last few years that Matt Stafford has left. And there was all this conversation about whether or not he was going to retire. Obviously, there was the whole thing about whether McVay's going to retire, and McVay was like, "Yeah, I'll stick around." But the issue there is
retirement. This guy is such a dick.
I knew as soon as I brought that up, you'd go there.
No, it's so annoying at this. Forget it. Like you're Sean McVay. You're amazing. You have great hair.
You have great hair.
Yeah, like we get it. You're built for TV. We understand.
But the Rams are trying to continually run it back. Their Super Bowl win from a few years ago now. It is a few years past. Oh. But they added to that defense, that stout defense last year with one of Chase's guys, Jared Verse. So let's see what they did this year in the draft and in free agency. And the big one, at least on offense, is the idea of, okay, we're going to lose Cooper Kupp, but who can we bring in to kind of replace him and be a dominant wide receiver one so that Puka Nacua can do Puka Nacua things? And they said, Devontae Adams could be available.
Yeah.
Hey, what about Devontae Adams? And sure enough, they got Mr. Taco Bell himself to agree to terms with the Los Angeles Rams and come and join the squad. There's going to be some growing pains for sure, because at least you can make the argument that Adams first was, excited to be with Derek Carr again in Las Vegas. Then he has to deal with some terrible quarterback play from Aiden O'Connell and Gardner Minshew. He gets to reunite with Aaron Rodgers in New York, but it doesn't really work that well. But now he's going to a quarterback that is an experienced thrower, has won a Super Bowl, has done all of these things, but there are still the growing pains because there's not going to be that mind meld. And that's what things like training camp are for. But you can't get that mind meld so quickly. So how long will it take for that to happen? But the question is, can they afford for that to happen? Meanwhile, they just today did the extension with Kyren Williams. A lot of people were anticipating that Kyren would, be the classic one contract running back, even despite everything he does, and despite the fact that every year the Rams draft a running back. Now they added Blake Corum last year. They added Jarquez Hunter this year, and we know that McVay likes to run things out of a committee, but Blake Corum didn't really do that well as a guy who was spelling Kyren Williams. Yeah, so that's why they added Jarquez Hunter. So I think despite the fact that I pulled these depth charts today, Jarquez Hunter really probably is closer to RB2 than Blake Corum, but we'll see how that one goes. But then on defense, this is a situation where, man, this is a really strong defense, and they try to add some pieces by bringing in Poona Ford, bringing in Nate Landman. Who are the people that to you are going to be the standouts on this defense? Obviously, like we know the Jared Verses, but this is a team that really, really needs to win low-scoring games because we don't know how strong that offense is going to be. Like, yes, they traded up to get Terrence Ferguson, and it was their making the pick was abnormal because they like trading out of picks and things like that. But who are the people that to you, defense or even offense, that are going to be kind of the people that they need to build around as they try to win these relatively low scoring games that still have that elements of the fun Sean McVay offense?
Yeah, Cam Kitchens, he doesn't get talked about a lot out of his class, for out of the Fisk and the Jared Verses of the world, being in that same draft class, but he was terrific, absolutely terrific for them last year. And I think you build the secondary around this guy. He could play free safety, he played nickel for them. He was just all over the place. Like, he was just a tremendous player, and I was a big fan of Cam Kitchens. Yeah, I was just a big fan of him last year. Very, very, very good good player. And then also too, Byron Young, opposite of Verse. He's also a guy that I just feel like so versatile, can defend the pass if needed, rush the passer, and get after the quarterbacks. Like, the funny story that the Raiders drafted the wrong Byron Young is still the greatest story ever. They drafted Alabama's Byron Young instead of just Byron Young and stuff. But yeah, like, those are two guys that, like, if there's some people on the defense, and Kobe Turner too. Kobe Turner played well for them too. But those are three guys where I'm just like, man, y'all gotta remember those names because they're just gonna kick ass and stuff. And then I really want McVay. I don't know why he struggles so hard with this, but I really want McVay to get something going with Tutu Atwell. I do think there's some decent value into Tutu Atwell. I'm not saying he's a world beater, but when you have a guy like Puka Nacua, who's like a route running type guy, you have a guy like Adams, who's going to definitely rely on the fact of his really great technique to win battles. You just need that burner sometimes. That guy that just says, fuck all that shit. I'm just running straight down the field. And I feel Tutu Atwell, like, in a lot, especially like early McVay, a lot of his success came with like some of those trick plays, some of those like fun, coordinated, like goopy stuff where you're just like, whoa, what the heck? Like, Brandon Cooks is wide open for a touchdown. Insane. Like, that's where I feel like it's like, get somewhere where Tutu Atwell's involved. I feel there's such good value into Tutu Atwell. I really do like him a lot. So I would like them to get Tutu Atwell involved and stuff. Offensive line, though, they didn't really do much to make it better. Like, I honestly feel like they made it a little bit worse.
You got to, I mean, there's an easy argument that Stafford was kind of low-key getting killed behind that line.
No, he was. Like, they had a lot of injuries last year on that offensive line, and they traded a couple of their better players away. And I just don't think they got him better. Like, I'm just looking at this line. I'm like, is this really a better line? Like, kind of just feels like
I am intrigued to see how the return of Tyler Higbee and adding Terrence Ferguson helps this offense, because they didn't have Higbee like at all last year, and now having him back, even if he's not 100%, that safety valve option, Stafford at least knows he trusts Higbee, get the ball out quick to him. If you see the pressure coming, you feel that pressure in the pocket collapsing. So that's, I think there is some, not like addition by subtraction aspect going on there, but like bringing back in Higbee, you can maybe cover up some of the weaknesses of the offensive line, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, yeah, definitely. Having Higbee back is good, and Terrence Ferguson's a good player too. Having tight ends, like McVay likes his tight ends too. Like they don't get a lot of stats, but he does rely on them a lot on like third down situations, especially like starting short and stuff. Like you will think he's running the ball, but really like the tight end's running like a nice little out route, quick little hitter type of shit. So yeah, just keep Stafford up because Stafford, he's still one of the better quarterbacks in the league. You know, a lot of people, I don't know why they're trying to write him off. Like, it's just like, bro, like this guy's still good when healthy. He's still capable. It's just he needs the offensive line to keep him up if you want to see the results.
I think a lot of that was kind of Stafford inflicted by some of his body language and the words he was saying, like after games and things like that. It was kind of like, does this guy that level of competitiveness, right? Like you can make an argument that quarterbacks are the most competitive people on the planet, and some of the body language and things that he was saying kind of made it feel as though, I don't want to say checked out, but he was like, if I retired today, I would be comfortable with what I do. So that's something to see.
He better be comfortable. Look how much money he's spending.
Well, let's see how he earns those game checks this year. Let's take a look at the Rams schedule, and much more difficult. Much more difficult. You've got to face the Eagles. You've got to face the Ravens. You've got to take on the Lions. This is a much more. I mean, and it feels as though until Stafford retires, every year the NFL is going to find a way to shoehorn a Rams-Lions game into the season.
They're trying to make that like this blood rivalry we don't care.
Like no one cares about, but I mean the respected. Well, the Lions care about it. I would say the Lions care about it more than the Rams do. But it is definitely a tougher schedule. So for me, what I wanted to ask you was what game here or a couple of games do you take a look at and you say, all right, not because we want to say that the Rams right now are the standard bearer of the NFC West. Granted, the Niners definitely were a better team than their record reflects. But what are the kind of like the key games at different points throughout the season that you're like, okay, you win here, you should be good to continue holding on to the division. Okay, now week whatever further down, you win here. Kind of like that spread out concept of where, like, if we're checking in on the Rams, what are the games that you really need to win to kind of secure the division?
Man, I feel like it's both San Francisco games. That's like the team that you have to just make sure you win those games. Like
it's coming back to that.
Yeah, San Francisco, like there's that stretch too where it's like San Francisco, Seattle, Tampa. Those are like, I think, 3 must-win games. Like one, San Francisco's on the road, and if you can beat them at home earlier in the year, which is not really a home game for you guys, that's huge. But then you get Seattle and Tampa back-to-back at home. I feel like you got to win those games. And then you enter like a good, easy stretch in Carolina, Arizona, which should be easy games. But you know McVay, he likes losing like one of those random Arizona Cardinals games and stuff. So then Detroit again, but this time it's at home. So, yeah, I think those are the games. Like it has to be that stretch, San Francisco, Seattle, Tampa. Like you got to win those games.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Like I'm definitely thinking that the Ravens game is also not, I want to say must win, but it's one of those where it's like if you're gonna lose, it's got to be close. It's because that's one of those momentum builders, that ones where you feel good about how you played. Sometimes you can feel good in a loss, at least from the coaching perspective, because you can be like, we were in the fight right against the Ravens, so we feel more confident about our team, and that's something that we'll be tracking as we get back into true picks. But Chase, it's time.
Yes.
It's time to talk about.
Can we skip the Raiders? Do we need to go? We just have to say Brock Bowers is awesome. We're happy to see Genti. We don't need to talk about
man. There's a little bit of juice there with the Raiders. We'll do it very quick.
I'd rather piss you off about the quarterback ratings in Madden. I think that would make you more excited. I think you're going to be pissed about Bo Nix's rating. And
I'm going to be pissed. I mean, if it's not a 99, of course I'm going to be pissed.
Yeah,
but
it's definitely not a 99.
Let's talk about the best division in all of football. You know, Chase wanted to save the NFC North and the AFC North for next week, the last divisional breakdowns.
They're more competitive.
I don't give a. This is the best division, with the exception of Little Brother, and of course we're talking about. We'll do this very quickly, I promise. the Las Vegas Raiders. The Las Vegas Raiders. Don't worry. You know what? I'll do the whole preview for you.
I like Colton Miller. I think he's a great left tackle. I think the Raiders are building something. I just don't.
They're not there yet.
Yeah, it's just like they're literally like, and I'm being dead honest. Like, no offense to Gino, they're a quarterback away from being actually something good. I think this is a good offensive line for Genty. Like, I think
it's a little offensive. You can say I want to offend somebody, but then you can still say something.
Yeah, well, I'm going to say it regardless. But I think they built such a good offensive line for a guy like Genty. It's just going to be sick. They have Michael Meyer as like a trade piece too. Like, they don't want to trade him. They should. I'm also interested in Chip Kelly. Like, I'm just so interested.
That's the part of it that I think is interesting.
Chip Kelly, to see what. You know, he's toned it down from what he did in college, like all those years ago. Defensively, like, I'm just gonna be honest, the defense of the Raiders, this is where, like, next year in the draft, I get it that and I always applaud when teams go, we don't care position or whatever, we're just gonna get the best blue chip prospect in this draft.
Yeah,
they did it last year with Brock Bowers, who was the best. Like, say what you want about the draft, Jaden Daniels and stuff, but pound per pound, if you are talking about players in that draft, Brock Bowers, it was the best prospect in that draft. And then same with Genty. Talk about quarterbacks, all this stuff. Pound per pound, Genty was the best prospect in his draft class. So it's like, I like that they have that mentality, but they got to do this on defense because, like, Mad Max, selfish asshole, should have just tired of watching this beast. Tired of this. He's so good at football. It sickens me. Like, I just go away.
I do find it funny that the Christian Wilkins, they released him.
Oh, yeah. We should check out Clemson and see what they've been doing. It's kind of crazy.
They've been doing some things, man.
Yeah, but no, like, it's just like this defense kind of reminds me of the Commanders defense, where they got a lot of guys that were good for their team. Like, Jeremy Chin had a good season for the Commanders. Pratt, you know, he's been a solid linebacker for what it seems like forever for Cincinnati. Landon Roberts has been kind of solid and stuff. Like, Eric Stokes is another guy that's been just a solid player. It's just like they're just missing, like, those studs on defense that's not Max Crosby, you know? Yeah. Like, and there's not a young talent like a Bowers or a Genty on that side of the ball where you say, oh, we have this guy. Like, Malcolm Kuntz does not get me excited. You know?
Similarly to how this year in the draft, the Falcons ignored everything basically and went defense, and how we were just talking, ignored everything and went defense. This is a squad that next year, whoever's coming out defense, like, you better be ready to put on black and silver, because if the Raiders aren't drafting you, then I don't know what's going on with Pete Carroll and whatnot. And you would think Pete Carroll is going to be going defense. He just could not pass up on a stud running back, because that's the other thing that Pete Carroll loves having is a stud running back. So the idea of bringing in Genty makes complete sense, to your point. Very quickly, if I'm the Raiders, I need to be trying to find a way to lose that Giants game, because the Giants have a very good chance of being competitive with me for a higher draft pick. Yeah. And that's really all I can say, like, from the Raiders this year. You are in a rebuilding year, and it makes sense. You know, new quarterback, new head coach. Yes, they know each other, but it's still new in the system, new with the players. It's going to be growing pains for sure.
And you're stuck with Gino too. There's no good. Yeah. It's not like there's another team. There's not another quarterback on the roster where he'll get benched. Like like Gino will have his Gino games where he throws like 6 interceptions, and you're like, oh man, Gino Smith sucks. And then afterwards, you got to deal with it. Yeah, like, I just feel it's like this. Pete Carroll might overachieve with these idiots. Like he's such an overachiever, and that's not what the Raiders need right now. They just need one more good year, one more year of being bad in the draft and drafting like a like a guy like Caleb Downs, who I see from Ohio State, who I look at and I'm like, that's a guy that the Raiders need on the back end, like just a good safety.
So right now, Tankathon has them at pick number 8.
Okay.
Taking Lenore Sellers.
I don't think Lenore Sellers is coming out this year.
Well, and now to be fair, in this scenario, if Tankathon is 100% accurate, which they also have Arch Manning going number 1 to the Saints,
okay,
so, whatever.
I don't think those two are coming out this year.
But assuming that were to happen, the reason why they could not get Caleb Downs is because at pick number 2, he would become a Cleveland Brown.
Really? They have a safety that high?
They have a safety at number 2, Caleb Downs, going to the Browns.
I love Caleb Downs. I think he's the best prospect of this upcoming draft. Like, I think he's really damn good at football. It just sucks that I'm sorry, Caleb Downs is so good at football. He played at Alabama and he played at Ohio State. Like, it's hard for you to stand out when you're playing on those rosters. Like, I'm sorry, but he's really freaking good at this game. And so I'd be happy with his number 2 just because I think he's one of the best prospects in the league. Like, I understand quarterbacks will always get drafted over safeties and stuff, but that's like a guy that I want the Raiders to draft. Like Sellers, like I have to see what he does this year and stuff. Like I have to see how he does this year. He was mad impressive last year, Lenore Sellers, as a redshirt freshman for South Carolina. But also, too, Sellers, I don't think he would go out because he might get paid big bucks in NIL. And it's better. And like his only competition really is Arch, no matter what. Like, no matter what he does, he's going to have to compete with Arch, like in the positions. Because if Arch doesn't go out his junior redshirt year, then Sellers is going to stay, and then Arch goes out senior. He's going to compete with Arch. So it's going to be Arch versus Sellers in terms of like QB competitions and stuff. Like, do they have Klubnik? Where do they have Klubnik?
Cade Klubnik. Let's see.
I'm interested.
Number 16 overall to the Steelers.
Yeah, Klubnik's good. I think he's a good quarterback too. He's going to do well for like. I think in college he won't flash as well. Like he kind of reminds me of Jackson Dart. Like he'll do well, but I think Klubnik will be fine.
But yeah, this is also Tankathon right now, and we can go a little bit further in Tankathon if you want later. But Tankathon right now has the Colts replacing your boy Big Tony with Drew Aller at number 7.
This is ridiculous. Why would you replace Big Tony with White Big Tony? That makes no sense.
Big Tony.
Yeah. Oh, let's replace Big Tony with the big arm for goddamn big arm Drew Aller. Oh, the terror. How many times have we had to do this with Penn State quarterbacks? They're not good. Like there's certain schools. Like I'm just being honest. You're a linebacker. You come from Penn State. I'm dropping you 9 times out of 10. You're a defensive tackle from Alabama. I don't know if you're going to be good, but I'm going to draft you and stuff like that. You're a wide receiver from Ohio State, LSU. I'm drafting you because I don't know if you're going to be good, but I know you can run a route and you can catch the ball.
You can run around.
Yeah, like I know you can do that. Like
you mean you're not taking a wide receiver from TCU in the first round?
No, I know that they don't produce. They need one wide receiver TCU has ever produced in their lives that is good.
Quentin Johnson.
And that's sad to say that's the case right there, man. Like we're using Quentin fucking Johnston.
Well, hopefully we're just talking about the Raiders. It's Jack Batch. Hopefully, but
yeah, no, I have no hope in Jack Batch. That sounds terrible. Oh, so Bo Nix, do you want to know his Madden rating?
You know what? Since we are getting to future AFC West division champions, the Denver Broncos. Yes, what is Bo's Madden rating? So I can get angry and throw things.
He's 79 overall.
That's bullshit. Should at least be an 83.
He has 88 speed, which is pretty damn good for a guy.
That is pretty good. Yeah, that is.
And his injury is a 95, which is pretty damn good too.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, Bo Nix is a lot of intangibles. If you're a guy that likes to build teams in fantasy draft style, 93 throw power, 82 throw under pressure. 89.
Whoa! 93 throw power. I was told he has no arm strength. That's what I was told coming out.
That's really good throw power in Madden. 89 short, which is really good. 84 mid, 86 deep, 83 throw on the run, should be higher, and 79 play action. But he just has a lot of his break sack is 74, which is pretty darn good for like a quarterback in his rating level.
I would say, yeah, I was gonna say it should be higher, but if he's gonna be a 79 overall, I understand 76. But yeah, let's get into these guys. Or
he's rated higher than Trevor Lawrence.
Well, I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah, Trevor Lawrence is a 75.
He's
the same rating as your favorite quarterback, Kyler Murray.
Oh boy, let's talk about these. Let's talk about these Denver Broncos. Oh man, oh baby,
no,
oh baby. Don't worry, you're gonna get your moment soon. So you've got a team that said, "Hey, you know how good our defense was last year? What if we made it better?
Yeah.
What if we spent our first round draft pick on a cornerback after we had the defensive player of the year on our team who happened to be a cornerback?" Well, that kind of makes sense because Riley Moss was a bit of a liability. You had Levi Wallace getting cooked by Jerry Jeudy during that Cleveland Browns game last year. So they go out and they get Jahdae Barron. But before they do that, they go, hey, now that we don't have this $53-something million dead cap hit from Russell Wilson's contract, what if we spend some of that money? Oh, let's go get Dre Greenlaw from the San Francisco 49ers. Let's go get Talanoa Hufanga from the San Francisco 49ers. We were just talking about how the 49ers have always had really good defenses. These are two pieces and two of the reasons why they have had good defenses in recent memory. Now, I mean, I'm not saying that not trying to downplay Fred Warner or Nick Bosa or any way, shape, or form, but Dre Greenlaw and Talanoa Hufanga were definitely contributors to the success of that Niners defense. But on offense, you go, all right, last year, Bo was actually one of the RB2 for the team because they could not get the ball moving. All right, how do we try to solve that? Well, we're going to, in our second round pick, we're going to take RJ Harvey. We're also going to sign J.K. Dobbins, who had a really good year with the Chargers. But one of the larger issues was that we had a blocking tight end. And saying the Broncos front office is saying, not we, meaning I, as part of the team. But because I don't like doing that. I don't work for them. I'm just a fan. I don't really generally like it when people are like, we did this and we did that. But
I do it all the time.
I know, but like for me, it's just, I don't know, it's a weird thing in my brain. It just doesn't compute. But the Broncos said, hey, we've got a blocking tight end as tight end one. He's not even supposed to be a receiver. He's more of a, do you want to add a blocker and maybe leak out for a catch here and there in Adam Troutman. So they said, you know what we're going to do? Jacksonville can't afford to pay Evan Ingram because of the deal that they gave Trevor Lawrence. Well, we've got all this money sitting around. Why don't we go sign Evan Ingram? And Ingram, who's had his, injury history and had his issues when it came to being during his time with the New York Giants, really turned his career around in Jacksonville. And now finally there is a short route to medium route threat that Bo Nix can throw to. And you have the extension with Courtland Sutton. You have the contract extension with Zach Allen. They're still working on a few other different contract extensions. This is a team that is absolutely primed for the playoffs. And if this defense can continue to improve and or get better, just like even if they just stayed where they were or improve, it is a defense that can really help bring this offense into the playoffs. And the offense is not a bad offense anymore. It is wild to say that this same offensive line, these are the same people that, I think they signed one person in between 23 and 24, but this is roughly speaking the same offensive line that Russell Wilson got sacked 40-something times behind. Bo Nix only got sacked 20-something times behind. Nobody really changed. It was the quarterback. Sacks are so much more of a quarterback stat than people realize. And this idea that Russell was playing well and wasn't supposed to be benched and so on and so forth, a lot of those throws were in essence chuck it up and pray. And thank God that in that year in 23, Courtland Sutton was able to come down with those catches versus 22. But now you have an offensive line that works well with Bo Nix. Bo is now in the second year of an offense where he hasn't, which this is a wild stat to me. I think dating back to high school, he has never had the same offensive coordinator 2 years in a row. And now he has.
He has the Herbert stat.
Yeah, this is really, like, I don't want to say the sky's the limit because there's still some definite holes on this team. Like, besides Cortland Sutton, Marvin Mims is a really great field stretcher, but like there's really not that much behind Cortland Sutton from a receiving standpoint in the wide receiver room. So there's definitely some key issues there, because if you need to get into a shootout, like case in point, last year when they had to get into a shootout with Buffalo in that playoff game, they simply could not do it because they did not have the receiving talent besides Cortland Sutton. So this is a team that can go far, but the question is going to be the wide receivers, their ability to step up, and how Dre Greenlaw really plugs in to this defense. Because if he's able to work similarly, if not better, than how Cody Barton did with Alex Singleton, this is going to be the defense to beat in the AFC this year. It may be potentially the entire NFL. Like, there's absolutely an argument for the defense we will talk about next in the Los Angeles Chargers, but this defense is absolutely bonkers. So from a competitive standpoint, who are the people that you are looking at for this Denver team?
Oh, man, Nick Bonito and Jonathan Cooper. Oh,
Nick Bonito, St. Thomas Aquinas. Gotta love it.
Just great edge rushers, like very, very great edge rushers. They have depth behind them, but it's just like those two are just really, really good players. And they're just studs. They're just studs, and that's what you kind of like to have. It's just edge rushers that really help, the great cornerback and Pat Surtain and all the other people in the secondary. It's just going to be interesting to see how Bo Nix continues his improvement as a quarterback. It's kind of a guy that got written off a little bit, especially during his time in college. He started at Auburn and kind of flamed out there, and then went to Oregon, and he had some good stretches, but then when it was the big games, that's where bad Bo Nix came out. And this year he looked really good and comfortable in the pocket, and Sean McVay really did a good job with him as his starting quarterback. So it'll be definitely interesting to see. I'm always intrigued in Pat Bryant because I just think he reminds me so much of Marcus Colston that I feel like he's definitely going to be taking over Devon Bailey's. Like, no offense, Devon Bailey, you're a 7th round pick.
And you're 27.
Yeah, you're a 7th round pick. You didn't end up becoming Brock Purdy, buddy. Like, I hate to break it to you. So I'm excited to see how Pat Bryant kind of shows up as a rookie in this offense. I think he could do some damage for it. Evan Ingram, it was just such a smart signing, getting a good tight end to help out, and that's what McVay likes. Sean Payton likes. Payton loves having like a really strong tight end to help, stop that cover 2. Like, you can't play cover 2 with the tight end that can run down the middle, because then your 2 safeties are split. So you have to go more into your cover 1, cover 3 looks and stuff. So that makes it more open for what Payton and Joe Lombardi like to do. Those stick route concepts. When you're playing cover 3, you're not going to be able to cover those stick routes as easy. Those stick routes become open. They hit the soft spots of the zones and stuff. So I just think it's just going to lead to Bo Nix's success. Obviously, a lot on R.J. Harvey and J.K. Dobbins' plate. I think that's what the Broncos are really missing, is just that one running back where it's just like I don't think R.J. Harvey's bad. I think he's good. It's just that I don't see him as like you're like, okay, like as you mentioned, clock killer. Like he doesn't scream clock killer. Hand R.J. Harvey the ball 20 times, and he's gonna make sure that it goes down.
That's what they want Audric Estime to be. And outside of, like, I think his first 3 games, he had a couple fumbles and then kind of basically was in the doghouse. But, like, if he can turn into that between the tackles thumper, I think the reason why they got Dobbins is that they're giving Estime the time to develop a little bit further, and that Estime is the thumper next year.
Yeah. So, I think that this team is in good position to once again compete for a wild card spot. We can't ever say win the West, like, sadly. No, we can't. Like, let's just be real. I don't even want to talk about them. I know they're just going to piss me off. Like, they're going to somehow. I'll look at their schedule and I'm going to say there's no way they should win these games, but
they will.
Let's hope Brazil's field is still shitty.
Let's look at the teams that Denver's going to have to face on this road to a wild card, or hopefully, at least for me, a division championship. This is a really strong schedule from the perspective of who your defense has to face. You have to go up. I mean, like, obviously, you're
just lucky you don't have to face for Levis week 1.
those division games are always going to be ridiculously competitive. Chargers, Ladd McConkey, and going up against Surtain. That's going to be fun to watch. Seeing how Trey Harris comes out, and we're going to get to the Chargers in a little bit, but that Bengals game, that's going to be really, really a strong test for them. And you're going to have the Eagles, where like that's going to be the question of, can you stop the run? And Denver did a good job of stopping the run last year, but the Eagles' ability to get Saquon into space is I don't want to say unparalleled, but it bears some studying, it bears some watching. And I personally am excited for that Week 13 game against the Commanders. That one's going to be, I think, really fun to watch. And, you know, obviously a lot of these guys are tied together forever. You know, I'm not trying to say anything about any of the other quarterbacks that were taken before, in the sense that Jaden and Caleb that's the ultimate tie together, because the Bears could have just had Jaden Daniels, but because of what happened last year with Bo Nix, and, you know, Michael Penix didn't factor in that much, JJM didn't factor in at all. Bo has kind of entered that conversation of, you know, what could be or what could have been. And especially if the Broncos gets the playoffs again and win a game and the Bears continue to flounder, it's going to be one of those situations where it's like, it's not even that you could have had Jaden Daniels, Chicago. You could have also had Bo Nix if you wanted to. So that's going to be a fun one to watch, this Commanders game. But outside, I mean, obviously we could talk about the division games all we want, particularly as it pertains to you and me, the Chargers and the Chargers games. But what are the ones that you're looking at as kind of the games that cement Denver as a playoff hopeful or as a wild card team?
Man, dude, you guys got dicked over on the schedule. What I'm talking about is you're traveling, which sucks. The Bengals game does come out to my mind. You definitely want revenge for what was one of the best games last season between the Bengals and the Broncos. Such a fun thriller that game was. That was like really like the Bo Nix coming out party of like, oh, this guy is like, yeah, he can be a dude in this league. But really, I think the Eagles, that's like a big game, because then you guys get dicked over and you don't even get to be at home. We talked about this, how the Jets have kind of like a nicer schedule because they get to be at home, then travel to Tottenham. You guys are at Lincoln Financial Field, and then most likely after that game, you guys are going to want to travel to Europe to go practice there. Your players are not going to be home for 2 weeks, and that's something that's a massively underrated thing people don't think about when it comes to it. Being like only 2 home games to start off the season, and then the rest is like all traveling. It's like, that's where I'm saying you guys got dicked over. Right? That early portion of the schedule kind of sucks for the Broncos. It's like, It's like obviously, yeah, later in the season it evens out. But the start of the season, it's like, okay, yeah, cool, you get a home opener. Then you got to go travel to Indy. You got to travel to SoFi. You get a home game against the Bengals, which is kind of in your favor, but it's a Monday night game. So it's like after you face a tough team in the Chargers, you kind of get an extended week, but then you get a short week to travel to Philadelphia, and then you have to go travel to freaking Tottenham in London. And it's like, oh, and you don't even get to be home. Like, this is like, there's a lot of, this is, feel bad for the Broncos. But I think that stretch of Cincinnati and Philly, those would be 2 huge early season games, because there is a possibility where it's like Denver starts off a little slow, like maybe they're not like 1-2 heading into that Cincy game, and then you take on the Bengals early, and that's the game that really got the Commanders' confidence up. Commanders in a Monday night game, very similar situation. It's a Monday night game against the Bengals. Came in and beat the Bengals, went punch for punch with them. And especially when you look at it, it's like, okay, we got the Bengals high-powered offense against this stout, strong Denver's defense. Pat Surtain, he's gonna be locking up one of the two between Jamar Chase or T. Higgins. Like, yes, choose one of them. So that's gonna be one of those games where it's like, hey, you guys beat the Bengals. It's like, awesome.
That's the real test for Jahdae Barron.
Yeah.
Like, no offense to Titans, Colts, or even the Chargers. But if you can shut down T. Higgins, while Surtain is covering Chase, or
how sad is that?
If you can cover Chase while T. Higgins is on Surtain's side of the field.
How funny is like Surtain's stat line? He locks up everyone else, but one of the best receivers against the QBR is Quentin Johnson, all off of one catch. Like it's not even volume of work. It's literally just he had one good catch on him. The only catch that he caught where I was like, he can catch the ball, and it's like, yeah, I have the best QBR against Pat Surtain. Fuck you.
But luckily for me, right around week 8, magic happens. The ring of horsepower fully charges up, and then as usual, Denver goes on like a bit of a hot streak right around the time.
I think that Houston game's a big game for y'all too.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Like Houston's kind of like, in a spot they're trying to become the kings of the AFC South, and come walking in, and
I would think that by week 9 they figured out this Higgins, Jalen Noel situation. They figured out, wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3.
Yeah.
While Tank is out with this injury, so you would anticipate that by week 9, CJ Stroud is able to wheel and deal with these 2 new wide receivers from Iowa State. Yeah. So yeah, this is going to be a fun one to watch. But now we get to turn from a 10-7 team to a 11-6 team. Of course, we are talking about.
How sad is it? We can be 11-6 and not win the fucking division. See what we have to go through.
The devil magic that you and I have to fight against.
Yeah, man. This kind of magic. Don't worry about it, man.
But of course, we are talking about the Los Angeles Chargers. So, Chase, normally I do the leadoff for the teams and all that. I'm gonna let you do the leadoff for the teams. Tell us about the moves that the Chargers made this offseason and why you are heavily anticipating. You've got your eyes on the prize, unlike Najee Harris.
Yeah, unfortunately, he does not have an eye on this. I don't think he has an eye that works right now.
But I'll take it.
Yeah, but the Chargers definitely, improved a lot this offseason with like whatever cap availability they had. Not listed here is Keenan Allen making his return to the Chargers. Correct. Most likely will be left wide receiver number 1, replacing Trey Harris in this situation. But they added, some decent pieces. Mekhi Becton is a really good piece. Deshaun Hand is a solid piece. The one thing about the Chargers that were kind of killing them is that like they didn't really have that big time cornerback 1. Unfortunately, Asante Samuel Jr. kind of flamed out. Like he just couldn't get on the field or stay healthy. And I don't even know if he signed with the team, to be honest. Christian Fulton played okay in stretches, but was definitely a liability in that. So they bring in a veteran like Adante Jackson to help the young cornerback room, and Cam Hart and Tarheeb Steele. They also bring in guys like, the Chargers' new GM, Joe Ortiz, comes from the Ravens. So he's very big on the whole, like, hey, let's just keep bringing guys in. Let's just bring all the trash in this world, and like hopefully they'll show up and stuff. And he's doing it with Benjamin St. Juice. I think we have him on the roster, isn't he? One of these Commanders cornerbacks should be on our roster. Where's he at?
Yeah, he's RCB player, 3rd string.
Yeah, like this is what they do. We're gonna like this Chargers roster you see now. I'm telling you, it's gonna look way different by like week 13, week 14, because they're just gonna keep signing and rotating players in and out of the lineup. That's what they're going to be doing. Obviously, the most exciting addition to this team is Omarion Hampton. I think a lot of people are very, very excited for this big bruising back. And that was the thing that the Chargers were missing. As much as Charger fans were upset with the wide receiving room, the running game was just not as consistent for what Harbaugh wants in football. And it was very apparent in the Texans game, where the Texans kind of knew that, hey, we got the Chargers right where they wanted. We can just pass rush them to hell. And the Chargers had no answer to the pass rush, because to beat the pass rush, you got to have a good running game. So those defensive line, especially one as aggressive with Danielle Hunter and freaking Will Campbell, like coming after you. Like you have two great edge rushers going after you. It's going to be tough. Yeah, the Chargers. If there's any concern, it's really that linebacking room. It's still really bad. It's still really bad. The linebacking room. You know, Perriman, he's been kind of in and out with injuries. He obviously has his weapon charges that he got arrested for. Deion Henley has been really good in pass coverage, but running, will Junior Colson become the player that, you know, everyone thinks that he can become? And that the defensive line just has been such a such a mess. Like, I'm not talking about edge rushers, like edge rushing wise, they've been kind of really good. You know, Khalil Mack, Tuitua Patola, Bud Dupree, that's going to be the main rotation. And then the reigning SEC player of the year, Kyle Kennard, is also going to be in that rotation. And a lot of times, if you're the reigning SEC player of the year, you tend to do really well in the NFL. So I'm very excited for that one. But yeah, it's just like that defensive line, like bringing a guy like Deshaun Hand, Tyler Tart, who has been struggling since entering the league, found his home in Los Angeles, and Otito Obongia, who just feels like I'm just so sick of watching him play football. I don't want to watch him play football. But yeah, no, there's a lot of fun, exciting pieces on this team. I like to tell Chargers fans, temper your expectations. We're going to be playing a lot tougher schedule. It's going to be a tough road for us. I do see this being a step back from 11 wins. I think 9 wins would be very reasonable for the Chargers this year. I wouldn't be mad with the 9-win season because Harbaugh's still building this team. You know, they're still building this team. It's a great sign that Rashawn Slater got re-signed to that big deal. But, you know, the reason why, you know, Jim Harbaugh is working is a guy like Mekhi Becton could have gotten paid anywhere else. And
That's true.
He took a cheap 2-year deal to go play with the Chargers, and cheaper a Mekhi Becton's status. So the Harbaugh effect is working. Like players will come to go play with Jim Harbaugh. It's just I feel the Chargers are just missing little pieces here or there where they can just say like, okay, this is what we can build around because they have a quarterback. Herbert is a good. And people will say Herbert's playoff players. Peyton Manning has the same amount of playoff players in the same year that Herbert has and stuff. Like, this happens sometimes. Not every quarterback will be put in a great situation to start out. Like if Brandon Staley knew how to run a fucking football, we would have had a playoff game with Herbert. But Brandon Staley's a fucking idiot. Have fun with him, Saints fans. Can't wait.
To me, I think a lot of this does come down to your point about Amari Hampton. If he really is the running back that, you know, was promised, that because I wanted him for Denver as well, but if he really is the running back that was promised, I don't know if like I would say a lot like all the problems go away, but a lot of the problems go away because you get to the point where you're up a score, even if you're up 1 score, and it is you know, end of the third, beginning of the fourth, your defense can feel a lot more comfortable doing a lot of different looks and different plays because they know that if they can just stop once, Hampton can kill the clock very well. So this is a very big load or responsibility that's being put on Amari Hampton's shoulders, and we'll see as we look at this schedule whether or not we think that it's going to be something that he
shout out Derwin James
handle.
Charger for life. Just
one other thing that I wanted to say about this defense is it's starting to age. Like there are a lot of people here that are starting to age. And that's my concern because it's harder to sign people, the big names that are like coming off that first 5-year contract or even 6 years or whatever because of the Justin Herbert contract. So to see, like, to me, this is another team that you got to balance drafting offense and drafting defense once you start paying these quarterbacks.
Well, you could see with the picks, like Kyle Kennard is like a perfect example.
Right.
It's like Thule, the thing with Thule is Thule's one of the youngest players in the NFL. Like, you know, he's just turning 22 and he's already been in the league for like 2 years. He's going to have a lot of suitors. And like the Chargers, they may not be able to keep him. So getting a guy like Kyle Kennard, that is a good pick. RJ Mickens is another guy. RJ Mickens is mostly going to play special teams for the Chargers. But he's like another guy, like, hey, you know, if he performs well on special teams, maybe we see something. Because Jesse Minter, he loves to run 3 safeties. Like, he does, like, the star. He has that star position, like the 4-2-5 defenses in college and stuff. Like, there's always a set where you're going to probably see Derwin James, Gilman, and Elijah Molden. Like that's just the trio that they will always have out there.
Sometimes you're drafting not for this year, but for like 2 years from now.
Yeah, exactly. And it helps when guys like Tarheeb Still panned out really well as a draft pick. And Cam Hart, besides his holding penalties, was very good for us, like during his time and stuff. And Nico Reed, he made that big play in the preseason. Like they've been raving about him. But yeah, no, it's just like that's the one thing the Chargers have to look at here is like as you put money into the offense, you gotta like I wouldn't be surprised if next year, if like Zion Johnson or something kind of stinks, we go guard in the first round, and then the rest of the draft is all defense. Just to keep that influx of youth in.
The other thing is that sooner or later you're gonna have to pay Ladd McConkey too. Which is wild considering he's only played for 1 year, but like they're gonna have to pay Ladd McConkey. Yeah. And granted, by the time you're needing to pay Ladd McConkey, the money that's going to the Denzel Perrimans, the Khalil Macks, the Derwin James, that's probably going to be freed up because more than likely they'll have retired.
Derwin's signed for life. He's not retired.
Like more than likely they have retired, but that money then probably will have also gone to some of these defensive players in the interim. So we'll see. So let's take a look at this schedule for this year. And obviously, like we talked about with Denver, there's you kind of lop off the division games because we know what those games are going to be. They're going to be slugfest. I do think it's interesting that the Chargers start off playing all 3 divisional opponents.
Yeah, dude. If we go 0-3, we're fucked. Like it's just like, and there's a realm of possibility we could go 0-3. I'm not writing that out.
But at least you got the Giants right after that. I mean, it's at Giants, sure, but like at least you got the Giants.
Yeah, dude. Like what a weird schedule. Yeah, like and we got to face them in Brazil, then travel to Vegas and so forth. Yeah, man, they fucked us over. What is this? They hate us.
But what are the games that are going to be standout ones to you, and that because you were saying you'd be happy with like a 9-7 season. Yeah. What are the games that you really want to build around for 2026 as they look to the future? Because to your point, like you want to do well to continue to build the momentum, but at the same time, you don't also want to, sacrifice draft position if it really is a 2026 competitiveness.
Yeah. I feel Miami is like a big game because like the problem with the Chargers is that's why the Giants, we could be 0-4 to start the season. I'm just being dead honest when I say this. Like it's just don't play good. We don't play good on the East Coast. Like it's just one of those things that the mindset of the Chargers they become idiots when they have to play on the East Coast. So it's just like it's such a tough like thing. But I think the Miami game and Minnesota, those are 2 games where I'm like, if you can beat those 2 teams, like I feel good about this season. Like it's like, okay, you beat those 2 teams. Like obviously I want to beat all our division games, but outside of the division, it's like, man, beat Miami, beat Minnesota. I'm cool with that. Like the rest of these games, it's just kind of like Philly would be a cool win too. But that's like
I'm intrigued by beating by that Steelers game.
Yeah,
not because of Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers offense, but the ability to score on the Steelers defense.
They're going Mike, I feel they're going to score well on them, man. It's Justin Herbert, it's Ladd McConkey. His name is Ladarius, Mike. I didn't know that until today. Keenan Allen, it's always open, Mike. Love it.
I will say, Asante Samuel Jr. not with the team. He is still a free agent.
Yeah, he crashed out in this league. You like Jim Harbaugh's all like, it's not a competitor, not welcome.
it's like Jim Harbaugh's not peeking through the curtain for Asante Samuel.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. That was like that's how I knew no one to watch Charger football. And they're like, I don't understand why they didn't re-sign Asante Samuel Jr. He wasn't on the field. Like you gotta understand that we didn't sign him. He didn't play.
But before we get to the last team, I do want to say I forgot one other piece of news. Jordan Addison was suspended for 3 games due to the DUI thing. So
the Chiefs, man, I could use them.
The Vikings will be without the services of Jordan Addison for the first 3 games. Jalen Naylor, congratulations, you are wide receiver 2. But that leads us.
So Justin Jefferson's wide receiver 1, 2, and 3 for the Vikings.
Well, no, I mean you can make an argument Hawkinson is there, but
I'm still saying Justin Jefferson.
To the satanic devil worshippers that that reside down in Arrowhead.
Oh yeah.
They went 15-2 last year when they had no business going 15-2.
What do you mean? We won the games what we're supposed to win, man. Shut up.
They had
like 2 blocked field goals, one missed
this
field
Chiefs run was the most. You couldn't believe it. You couldn't make it up.
The only thing that I do have to at least hang my hat on about this is that I called the regression of Patrick Mahomes like 3 years ago. But it's like he's taking a step back. You guys aren't seeing it yet, but he is taking a step back, and he absolutely has. Now it is no longer just something seems slightly off, but they'll figure it out. Mm-hmm. Now it really is. There is some kind of an issue with Patrick Mahomes. So let's take a look at this roster,
man. I'm not open.
Let's take a look at this roster and see if the Chiefs are doing anything to try to fix this issue. Well, the first thing is, can you help him keep a clean pocket, which arguably you don't really need to do, because even if the pocket starts collapsing, this guy just starts running and nobody wants to hit him, because they fear the flags being thrown, or he does the nonsense where he looks like he's going to give himself up and then suddenly takes off again, and they're like, oh, let me ease up off this guy, all that stuff. But still, they said, you know what? We're going offensive line in this first round. They traded Joe Thuney away to Chicago. They're going to saying, let's shore up this offensive line with Josh Simmons in the first round. They get Jalen Royals as a wide receiver in the 4th round. This is a team that has severely missed Rashee Rice last year. That was definitely one of the big reasons why that offense went into the tank. Travis Kelce is, I don't want to say a ghost of himself, because he does have like weird flashes here and there where he will look like Travis Kelce, particularly in the playoffs. But the entire season, he's not a liability, but it is a situation where it's like they're saving him for the playoffs, so they're not going to throw to him that much.
If you watch like the film for the Eagles game, it's not the same Kelce. He's not chip blocking like he used to. He's not run blocking like he used. He's not like the same like overall as a player. Like he can still catch the ball for sure, but he's not like the same Kelce in terms of like how he is on the field and how he's feared. Like he's been one of the best tight ends I've seen. Like he's been a nightmare to watch because like somehow, some way, he's always freaking open. He's great. He's a great player, but it's just like, damn, it's like he's just not the same. So yeah, no, he is definitely more than a ghost. He's a shell of his former self.
Like we were talking about with Kupp now in Seattle, and the time it takes to build that mind meld that he had with Stafford, he has to now build that with Sam Darnold. And how we were talking about Devontae Adams, the mind meld that he had with Aaron Rodgers, and now he has to build that with Matt Stafford. The mind meld that Travis Kelce has with Patrick Mahomes is absolutely incredible. His ability to just know, oh yeah, Patrick's going to have to probably dance around a little bit as I start running down the field. Let me do this little nonsense to get open. And then sure enough, it's Travis Kelce got a reception for 6 yards. It's a first down for the Kansas City Chiefs. But this is a team that last year, especially last year, it was highlighted by how good their defense was. And their defense has been Patrick Mahomes gets the love and the attention from the media and from a lot of reporters and analysts, but he kind of has been carried by this defense for the past 2 to 3 years. And part of that is they've drafted very well. They have also retained people very well. But similarly to the Chargers, this is a team that is aging. It's starting to get older on defense. And adding the pieces that they need to add is going to be important. And that's why you can see in this lineup, the new people there, all there on the second string on the defense, just sitting there waiting to soak up the knowledge that they can. And I mean, if you're players,
I think Noel Williams is going to really take Jalen Watson's spot.
I mean, if you're these players, I mean, you gotta think about it. You're not only getting to sit behind the George Karlaftises of the world, the Chris Jones, the Mike Pinnells, the Nick Boltons, and the Leo Chenals and all that, but you also get to have a good offense, at least on paper, that can help you to get further acclimated to the NFL. And that's kind of also been the story of the Philadelphia Eagles, right? Like they have had a really great defense. They continue to add strong pieces to it every year, but it is complementary football. And I can't say that the offense has not, like they have been holding up their end of the bargain, but they have been doing enough to keep the defense able to play freely. And so adding these people there, those second string people, this is a way for your defense to reload. And I'm interested to see how this is going to play out over the course of not this season, but next season and so on and so forth. Because you got to look at that. Like you can see next to Chris Jones's name, 16. He's been in the league since 2016. It will be 10 years. He's going to be getting much closer to retirement than he is, where he was a couple of years ago. So who are the players that for you are standing out as the people that can kind of help this Chiefs dominance continue?
Karlaftis and Trent McDuffie. These two are just under the radar studs. Karlaftis doesn't get talked about a lot. I don't know why. Maybe because we just watch too much Chiefs.
People talk about Chris Jones more. That's why.
Yeah. Pound for pound. As Collins would say, pound for pound, strongest guy on the roster, George Karlaftis. Like he loves this guy. I like Karlaftis too. I think he's a really talented player. He's grown really, really well. Trent McDuffie, he's more than just a nickel back. He does a lot for that Chiefs defense. He's a really, really good corner and stuff. Sometimes he'll have bad games, but for the most part, he's really good. But on offense, I gotta see something from Pacheco, bro. The hype of Pacheco has kind of went down a little bit. Like once Kareem Hunt came back, and it just felt like, yeah, do you really need Pacheco? Like Kareem Hunt, that was ridiculous, man. Kareem Hunt just came in and it's just like, what is this, 2018 again? This guy's good all of a sudden? The fuck is this? It pissed me off, bro. It really did. It really pissed me off. I don't get pissed at it. Oh, no, I do get pissed off, but that pissed me off. Josh Simmons definitely needs to step up. The Chiefs, one of the main reasons why I chose against him in the Super Bowl, and I'm always big, like, especially in the Super Bowl, the first matchup I look at is your D-line versus the O-line, because I've seen many Super Bowls where the game is won and lost because the defensive line kicked the offensive line's ass. And I just felt the Chiefs' offensive line, I don't care that Patrick Mahomes is back there. He can't stand up straight if his offensive line is getting their ass kicked. And that offensive line was in flux. Josh Simmons, who, yes, has some injury history during his time in college, he's a really good player. Like, I felt Josh Simmons could have easily been a top 15 draft selection in this year's draft. But because of those injury concerns of his, he did not get selected. And him now being, hopefully the blindside protector. And, imagine having a Patrick Mahomes. Like, you at least are going to get him on Josh Simmons' 5-year rookie contract. He's going to be in the league for that. You can have Mahomes stand up straight for 5 years knowing that, hey, Josh Simmons is here. That's going to be a lot because Creed Humphrey locked up. Trey Smith locked up. Juwan Taylor, he's kind of a placeholder. He's been a bad placeholder for the Chiefs, but he's kind of a placeholder at this point. Like, how many false starts is this guy going to get before we pull out black? For fuck's sakes. That guard position, that left guard position, that is a wide open, and that's the position that will cost them games. Kingsley was just horrible for them. At first he showed some glimpses as a starting left tackle, but then slowly got benched and then slowly got demoted. Now they're kicking him side of guard, and I get it, big, strong, powerful, but I'm just like I don't know. I just don't. I don't think it's gonna work. Receiver wise, I like what I saw of Worthy. I thought he grew into a really nice young piece for them. Kind of had flashes of Tyreek Hill, kind of had those flashes and stuff. Just release Sky Moore at this point. Let's just give it up. That horrible. Do you see that number? How horrible it is? Go back to the Chargers depth chart. Do they show these 38 and 39s? I want to yell. I want to yell at these players and tell them to change their numbers. Do they show 38 and 38? Yeah, pull this.
Oh, that's right, because you were getting mad.
Disgusting. The fact Jim Harbaugh lets this.
There you go.
Okay, cut Jalen Johnson, cut Devon Campbell, cut Luke Grimm, and why is Jaquay Jackson wearing a cornerback number at wide? Cut them all. Do not be on my team. This is ridiculous. 38. These are cornerbacks playing wide receiver. Like, the fuck is this? 27, 38, 30. John, am I being wrong? Am I being harsher? Aren't these cornerbacks?
Should be a little harsh.
No, these are cornerbacks playing fucking wide receiver. They need to be gone from the league. If Des Fitzpatrick is not my only receiver, like at the end of my, if I swear to God, in the regular season, if I see any of these guys on my roster, I'm gonna be pissed. Who allowed this? Who allowed them to have these numbers?
Would you be more?
Dude, no. Okay,
which would upset you more? Which would upset you more?
No, Jalen Johnson. Why aren't you 80? Jaquan Jackson. Why are you 27? First of all, you're gonna remind me that you're J.C. Jackson. I'm gonna think, what? J.C. Jackson's playing wide receiver now again. Like, why aren't you 83?
Which would upset you more, though? Which would upset you more? Those players staying on the team, or Jalen Reagor staying on the team?
Jalen Reagor's fine. He wears normal receiver number, and he's fast.
I'm not talking about the receiver number. I'm talking about the quality of player.
He's fast. He can run. One of these idiots couldn't catch a ball inbounds in the end zone. He ruined Trey Lance's trade value. And why? Look at these numbers. This is disgusting. I put back the cheat. I'm disgusted. Just fucking disgusting. See, like, besides Sky Moore, he gets it. Andy Reid gets it. Like, Magdalena, you're wearing 84. Fuck whatever. By the way, love that pickup. Magdalena's I think he's, I don't know what he's doing in training camp, but I did like Magdalena in college. I don't know how he's going, but man, if Magdalena figures it out, he's gonna be a good, nice young piece. He played at Fresno State. I like him as a player. I do like Magdalena as a player. He's like a nice little shifty wide receiver. I like him. Yeah, but no, I do think that this Chiefs team, it's still one of the upper echelons.
Yeah,
I would say Buffalo and Baltimore, just better than talent wise. But in terms of winning games, these guys don't have to win. That's just all they do.
Do we even need to do this?
I mean, if we. Oh, okay. Chargers, they're going to win that game. Probably Herbert gets injured because we're in Brazil. Philadelphia, they're winning that game. You know, it's going to be rep ball, going to get revenge. New York, they're going to win that game. Baltimore, they'll win. Jaguars, they'll win. Now the Detroit game, that's where I think they'll pick up their first loss. I think they'll lose to Detroit. I think Detroit will be on a nice little record too, but I think that'll be the game that they lose. Raiders, they win. The Commanders game, that one's going to be all hyped up, but then it's just the usual Chiefs just kick someone ass game. And then we just hear like Joe Buck and Troy Aikman. They're like, oh, we didn't expect this. We expected Jaden Daniels to do better tonight. And, well, Troy.
Did you freeze on me? I think you froze on me. But
sorry, the Devil Magic got mad about that.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Well, I was going to say at Buffalo that it's Arrowhead 2.0, so they're just going to win that game.
Come on now.
They like losing to Denver and Denver.
Josh has the power of love on his side now.
I think they'll lose to Denver at Denver. Never mind. It's Andy Reid off a bye week.
It's Andy Reid off a bye week.
Yeah, sorry, John. Now this is where it gets interesting. You might call me crazy, but I think Big Tony, he cracks the code of the defense.
I hate you so much.
No, the Colts are good. This is going to be the game. Daniel Jones is going to be the starter, and he's going to suck so bad. Big Tony's going to have to come. He comes back in, and he'll have like one 62-yard rushing touchdown. We're like, Big Tony's back, baby. Let's go. Cowboys, they'll win. Houston. No, they always kick Houston's ass. Why am I even contemplating this? They do. Now, this game against the Chargers, for whatever reason, the Chargers, when they want to play good against the Chiefs, it's in Arrowhead. Like, that's just.
Look at the nonsense that happens here. When they're supposed to be playing, at least in the Chargers' home field, it's in Brazil.
Yeah. As a season ticket holder, it kind of pissed me off that we didn't get.
I get it. It's a marquee matchup.
It's fucking bullshit. It's literally bullshit. That's like the one game you can make a lot of money off of and stuff if you don't want to go. And we lose an extra home game, and then our reward is like, you get to play an extra preseason game in Canton, Ohio. We finally play Antonio Gates in the Hall of Fame. Like, what? What does that do for me? Like, fuck you. But yeah, I know. Like, yeah, this is another 14-3, 15-2 type season for the Chiefs. Like,
it's ugly.
Yeah, they're gonna win these games, and it's just like the games that they have to worry about. Like, I just feel like if they lose, it's not like the end of the world and stuff. Like, and what helps them too is like to get to avoid Cincinnati. They get to avoid like Cincinnati and Pittsburgh this year because they're not playing the AFC North. They take advantage of the fact that the AFC West is playing the AFC South. And then our NFC opponents are the East, which is, it's a challenge. Yeah, they're good fan bases, but when one of the teams is the Giants, it's kind of like easy pickings right there. It's like
it is a little bit easier.
Yeah, it's like the AFC West. We all have I would say, fair schedules. Like, I would say pretty fair schedules between all four of our teams. It's just like the Chiefs schedule. I just look at it. I'm just like, yeah, like minus Baltimore. Up until they get to the Washington or Buffalo game, they could be undefeated. Like, I could see a world where they're undefeated. Like, Baltimore's the only game where I'm like, they could lose that one. Because I think week 2 they beat Philly. I just think Philly's going to have the usual Philly stuff. Like, A.J. Brown's reading a new motivational book on the sideline. And, like, it's just Philly's like the opposite of the Bengals, where it's like they do start off slow, but they start off stupidly slow where it's just like, hey, you can just hand the ball off to Saquon. And they're like, no, tush push. And it's like, what? And it's like, like what? Like, stop. But yeah, no, I think the Chiefs are going to do well this season, and they're going to be most likely at worst the second best team in the AFC, like regular season record wise. Like,
yeah, I could see that.
That's at worst. Like, that's literally their worst. Like it, honestly, it would take a miracle for the Broncos or the Chargers to jump the Chiefs this year. And I'm leaning more towards the Broncos being the second place team just because I feel the Chargers kind of have a rougher East Coast stretch, even though the Broncos have that hellish stretch as I talked about where they got dicked over with like having to go to Philly and then having to go to freaking Europe, London right after. I'm leaning more towards the Broncos, like being the second place team in the AFC West, the Chargers at like third, and Raiders you're fourth. Like, unless Pete Carroll, I think there will be a competitive AFC West. I think at worst, the worst team will have 6 wins, which is not bad for being the worst team in the AFC West. Yeah, and I feel like if you're the Chargers or Broncos, you're kind of at that point where it's like, do we really want to go back to the playoffs, or do we want to have like a 6-win season and get better draft position and keep building these rosters? Like, those two teams, I feel like you're okay if like you have like a little Broncos more so than the Chargers because your quarterback's still young. Herbert, it's more of like, hey, Herbert really needs to put up or shut up. Like, can we see you win a playoff game type of shit? Where me being an understanding Charger fan and understanding that like they adopted a horrible roster from that genius Tom Telesco. Who'd have thought? The last few people Tom Telesco paid, they all got cut. Crazy. What a genius. Wow. But yeah, no, this Chiefs, a lot of fun games. A lot of games that's going to piss you off. I think the more thing that we're looking for is like, as like division rival fans, we just want to see the Chiefs actually be dominant and not scrape by most of these games.
Yeah, if the thing with the Chiefs is if you're going to win and you're going to win the division, I want you to actually prove that you deserve to win it.
Dominant.
It's like if a blocked kick from Denver, the Raiders, remember there was like that.
Did I tell you that story? What happened at work?
That weird shit that happened with the Raiders when they had to snap the ball and then not snap the ball, then all that kind of that.
No, did I tell you about that Denver one? What happened at work with that? So
infuriate me more.
Oh man, so I was at work, and this is when, dude, they took away the TV in the break room. I was so pissed. So now how am I going to watch football on TV on my breaks? Well, I have my phone, but it's even better when you get to watch it on television. So I was on my break. I took my break at the right time, and Denver and Kansas City, they had like the overrun from whatever game that we had in California that was playing on CBS, and I'm just thinking, me and Stacky called this because if I remembered, I think I picked the Broncos. Stacky was like, "Oh, Chief Devil Magic."
Yeah, I was just like, Chief Devil Magic.
But I was like, I can't wait to rub it in John's face. I've been high on the Broncos all season. You remember I was saying they can make the wild card, and I was high on the Broncos. I felt good about this team, and then I was sitting there and I was so excited. I was like, oh my god, and then stuff. And we had food, like we did like a potluck or something at work, and so I'm all excited. I grabbed some food. I'm excited. The minute the Chiefs blocked that, no, wasn't it like, Karlaftis was super offsides, and
yeah, he was, yeah.
I threw my plate to the ground with all the food, kicked it. And I said, this is so stupid. And thankfully, no managers were in the area. Otherwise, they would have probably sent me home for being like very, very, very disruptive. Yeah, but I was so pissed. And that was the first thing. After kicking my food and stuff, before I cleaned it up, I went into the office room where all the managers sit, and I'm like, all right, cool, they ain't in here. And then I grabbed a broom and I swept up my shit. And so I was pissed, man. That I've never been more pissed on a non-Chargers game in my life. Like, that was up there with like a game where I was just like, what is this?
Well, let's take a quick little look, because interesting. So right now, to win the West on FanDuel, Chiefs -105.
That's not bad.
Chargers +270. Broncos +320.
Ooh.
I'm not even going to bother with the Raiders.
What are they, +1,000?
+1,200.
Oh man.
Like, that's I mean, no, don't get me wrong, there are worse odds out there. Like, the odds for the Cleveland Browns to win the AFC North are +3,600. So like, there's worse out there.
Well, I think Vegas kind of knows where it's like the Chargers and Broncos, like, we like them, but they could have down years too for both those teams.
Yeah.
So like they kind of, I remember Broncos making the playoffs. I made money off that. I bet on that. And I was like, yeah, I think.
Remember what was it, 5 wins or something like that? 5 wins. I'm taking that. I'm hammering that over.
I think the best bet ever that I cashed on super early in the season. They had Fred Warner over 1.5 interceptions, and I was like, this guy is gonna get at least. Well, Pat Surtain too.
That was my favorite one last year.
He had only 1.5, right?
Yeah, it was over 1.5, and I was like, I get that people won't throw at him, but they'll throw at him enough where he can get 2 interceptions over.
Yeah, like he's gonna get 2 or 3.
It cashed in one game. And it just so happened to be the game against the Raiders that I was like, it's even sweeter. It was against the Raiders.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of NFL prop bets are like the funniest. Like, especially on the defensive side of the ball, you could literally make free money because they have something like Fred Warner at 1.5 at like +250, and you're like,
you know what? That's what we should do once we finish with this, because we'll also be doing Hard Knocks. We should do like we should go through FanDuel and see like what are the fun
player props. There's a lot of good, like, especially like value wise, like there's a lot of good player props that you can take advantage of and stuff. Yeah, especially defense. I think defense is even more fun than offense. Yeah, defense, it's like they'll like have like a top ranked quarterback. Like I'd be interested to see what because Diggs is coming off like a pretty so run so far, like what his odds are for interceptions and stuff like that. Like if they only give him like 3.5, and I'm like, he's gonna get more than 3 interceptions. Like, what?
Yeah. So that'll be fun to watch. But let's do really quickly. Remove other media.
To be the Prime Video.
There.
You guys gonna get flex? You're gonna get flex out of the Prime Video game with the Chiefs?
I don't know.
Man, I don't want to play on Thursday anyways, man. Got other shit to do, man.
Now, granted, all of this is definitely going to change because some players are not going to be coming out for the draft. Particularly Arch Manning. I don't think he's going to be coming out this year.
I feel like Arch Manning, it would have to be like the team that he gets drafted to, like his team is like, yeah, just go. Like, he wouldn't even have to do any workouts either. Like,
no, which is wild considering he didn't play a full season last year, so this will be his first full season. Like, the idea that it's just like, yeah, but have you seen his last name? We'll take that chance. Like, because think about it, if you're the Colts and you're willing to take Anthony Richardson at 5th overall. Or you are the Falcons, and you're going to take Michael Penix Jr. what was it, 7th or 8th overall, when you already have Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
There's going to be a team that's like, you know what, first overall, we'll take that risk. We'll take that risk on Arch Manning.
I think with Arch Manning too, like I just think college is not really going to be his game because of the playbooks and everything like that. Like he's going to be so much better. Like he's going to be one of those examples where it's like, yeah, in the pros he's going to kill it. In college he just never really. It's just not really his style, to be honest. It's just especially for what he is as a quarterback.
So like let's take a look at some of these, like especially because of how they're predicting, the divisions to go. We were talking about the Rams needing to continue to restock that defense because they have the Falcons pick, getting that 12th overall, potentially getting defense out of Texas. But they do have the Chargers, because you were talking about 9 and 7 for the Chargers.
Dude, we're gonna draft DJ Uiagale's brother. The fuck is this?
Apparently.
I mean, Mateo is pretty good. He's a pretty good player.
But yeah, I mean, there's some interesting things to see here. They are predicting a Eagles-Ravens Super Bowl.
Not bad.
Which that would make sense to me. I do like the fact that they don't have the Chiefs making the AFC
championship,
which would be the first time in Mahomes' career that he doesn't make.
What fools! Like, how dare you?
They don't have him making the conference championship. That'll be interesting to see. But yeah, is there anybody that kind of sticks out? And I know this is super duper early.
No.
Is there anybody that kind of sticks out to you as like very underrated for where they're anticipated to be drafted, which I think would be more the back section of
Jordan Tyson. I think he's very underrated. He had a great season for Arizona State. I like his frame. I like his catch radius. I think he's like really good speed. I think he's massively underrated as a talent, and I think he's going to have a really good season, especially in the Big 12 where it's mostly an offensive base. I'm going to go hard for Cade Klubnik. I really do like Klubnik. I thought he showed some great strides as the seasons went on. So I think Cade Klubnik I really like a lot from Clemson. I think he's going to do well. I think he's actually going to become a top 10 pick at the end of this. But yeah, those are Nicholas Singleton is another guy that I really like, but I don't know. I guess they don't view him as like this great running back, but I think he can be a top 15 pick. He has the potential. Like, I think he's a good player. Like, I think he'll be that. He's definitely drafted in the first round. LT Overton, I just think that like people are sleeping on him because he's been miscast at Bama for like the first 2 years that he's there. So I think like if he puts on a good season for an Alabama team that has to prove a lot this year, that will do well for his draft stock, to be honest. But so far, like especially in the back end of the draft, it's kind of hard because a lot of these players that you see on the back end, they end up becoming like day 2 picks anyways. Because a lot of day 2 guys move up and a lot of day 1 guys move down and stuff. So like
let's actually look at it like this.
No, I like the big board. Oh wow, big board's right. What the hell is this?
How are you feeling about this ranking so far?
Jaden Ott's still at California? I thought he transferred.
I don't think he's still there.
Oh, he is. I thought he was a transfer candidate for sure.
Oh no, he is Sooners.
Yeah, so, that's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say he's not a California running back no more. I was like, if Cal saw Jaden Ott, that would be pretty impressive.
They haven't updated it yet.
Oh, okay, yeah. No, Jaden Ott's he's a stud. Him going to Oklahoma with that offensive line. It's the first year Oklahoma also has not been ranked in the preseason, which is crazy. Justin Haynes, former Alabama running back, and then I think he went to Florida State right after, going to Michigan. No, I think he's just Alabama. There's transfer portal is kind of hard to remember everything. But yeah, Love and Singleton, obviously, those two make sense in terms of the rankings and stuff.
How do you feel about the wide receivers?
Man, Nick Harbor should not be high at all. He's just fast. Like, I like Nick Harbor, but some kid from that plays NCAA put him there. Like, what the fuck is this? Like, Nick Harbor is not that good. Aaron Anderson should be ranked a little higher. I know he's small, but he's a stud. Tate and Tyson being 1 and 2. I like them being 1 and 2 right now. And Antonio Williams, he's not like the typical Clemson guy that we all know and love and stuff. USC, I don't know. I'm not a big I'm not big on their 2 wide receivers that much and stuff.
Lane and Lemon.
Yeah, Jacoby Lane and Lemon, like they're okay, they're fine. Like I think they just fit more of what's his face, Lincoln Riley's offense. I don't think they're great. Zakira Branch, that's a name to kind of keep an eye on. I think he can move up draft boards from Georgia. Kind of reminds me of Ladd McConkey a little bit too.
How do you feel about these? I mean, this is tight ends usually a crapshoot, but from what I understand, Oscar Delp is supposed to be
he's going to be
better than some of these guys. But
yeah, I don't know why Eli Stowers is so high. I think Jack Andrews and Oscar Delp are both better than him, but okay, whatever they say.
This is always a bit.
I love this, man. Proctor, Moiago, Spencer Fano, studs. I'm surprised Spencer Fano. Maybe he did transfer to Utah, but I'm surprised he didn't transfer somewhere else. But yeah, man, Spencer Fano's a beast. Caleb Lomu's a beast. Too bad Cam Rising couldn't have these guys as his tackles because you'd be standing up straight. I really do like the kid from Boston College, Jude Bowery. I like him. I like him a lot. He's 6'5", 208 pounds, but he can move. He can move for his size. So I like him a lot. I think he can be a good day 2 guy. I think he's moving up, and I think he can move up honestly. And then Gennings Dunker, man, what a name! He's from Iowa. This guy just screams all pro. Like he just screams like someone's gonna get him in the 2nd round. He's gonna be a beast.
Let's take a look at our interior. Yeah, another Bama guy.
Yeah, Parker's Belsport's good too. He's solid. Like honestly, there's a lot of tackles in this draft class that I think would kick into guard, to be honest. Jake Slaughter's a little bit too small for my liking. 294, gotta beef up, bro. Gotta beef up. Peter Woods, holy shit, this guy's he's gonna be special. He's really good. I like Peter Woods a lot. I think Peter Woods top 5, I don't know because he's an interior defensive tackle, but Mason Graham went high, so Peter Woods could also go high.
That's true. That is true. Let's take a look at these edge rushers.
Oh man, a lot of great edge rushers. TJ Parker, yes, he's a stud. Ruben Bain Jr., stud. Of course, Penn State edge rusher Danny Dennis Sutton. That sounds like an all-pro player if I've ever seen one, bro. Wearing an ugly-ass defensive line number that he shouldn't be wearing. I love it. David Bailey. Now, this guy, David Bailey, I believe he transferred into Texas Tech. I can't remember if he came from Nebraska. He comes from a Big Ten school, I want to say, or if he's been at Tech. Tech has been in the transfer portal a lot, so forgive me if I can't remember all their portal guys, but I feel David Bailey's a transfer guy. Is he or no?
From Stanford.
Yeah, David Bailey. That's a name that I feel like can shoot up draft boards. He's super fast, super freakish, has that nice twitch. I think he's going to play well in the Big 12. Like that's the one thing about Tech why I think a lot of people have them for the Big 12. They went heavy in the transfer portal, especially on defense.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he's going to do well. And then Patrick Payton, don't think he will ever make like a day 1 or day 2, but that's a guy you should pay attention to. And I think he's going to have a good stat line being across from Harold Perkins Jr. What was it? Where's Perkins Jr. on this list? He's not eligible yet?
This guy?
No, Harold Perkins Jr.
Oh, Harold Perkins. Yeah, apparently he's not eligible.
Do they have him listed as linebacker?
Let's see.
Huh. Oh, yeah, they do. That's weird. Sure. He should be higher. Same with Deontay Lawson. Both studs.
How do we feel about our cornerbacks?
I don't know. This year's draft is kind of weak. I'm not big on a lot of these guys. Malik Muhammad's probably my favorite out of the group. Yeah. AJ Harris is pretty good too. He fits like the Penn State build, but like Penn State likes to run that man to man and stuff. And like he's not good in zone, AJ Harris. He's very good in man. He's like a very physical, like I'm gonna beat you to the punch type corner and stuff. Obviously you can see by his tackles. He likes to tackle.
Yeah. And finally, our safeties. I know you were talking about Caleb Downs.
It's just Caleb Downs. All these guys are bums compared to Caleb Downs. Caleb Downs makes every player look bad. No, actually, Jalen Kilgore is really, really good. I expect him. I do expect him. He was more of like a backup for South Carolina last year. but he came in and he played a little bit. But I expect him to have a really, really good season. And I think Kamari Ramsey, I think he could have a good season. He just didn't play well in the games that you wanted to see him play well in. But Caleb Downs, by far, he's just the best player in this class. He's so good. I like.
And let's look at if we remove the Arch Manning going back and Lenora Sellers going back, and we know you talked about Clay Klubnik. Is there anyone else here that kind of stands out to you? Like, I know there's the Garrett Nussmeyers, but like these guys, Carson Beck at Miami now is, I don't know, it's just funny to me. But what are the odds of some of these guys moving up higher?
Oh, there's high odds. Sam Levitt, if Arizona State has another good season, he's in the same realm of Sellers and Arch Manning, a redshirt sophomore, so he has a chance to go out. But if you're Sam Levitt and Arch is not going out or Lenora Sellers is going out, and you have a good season with Arizona State, and you take Arizona State even more deeper into college football playoffs, or even in the same spot, why even go back? Just go, especially if you could be a first round talent, because Drew Aller. I'm sorry, bro. Like,
I'm interested to see Drew Aller without Tyler Warren.
Yeah, Nussmeier, I think, will be if Arch stays in college, Nussmeier's number QB1.
Gotcha.
But if you're Sam Levitt, I like my chances of competing with Cade Klubnik and Drew Aller being QB2. Fernando Mendoza, he's more of like Indiana's a run-first team, so it's just like I don't know how much I like him. Like he has a stature, 6'5", 225. His arm is not though like even though he's 6'5", 225, he doesn't have like the arm of a 6'5", 225 player. Like he does not have that Cam Newton like throwing that beautiful spot. Like it's very inconsistent. Like he has an arm strength, but I'm saying he's inconsistent.
Gotcha.
With how his ball looks. Like the way it leaves his hands is inconsistent. Nico, I don't think he's coming out either, but if he does have a great season for UCLA playing in the Big Ten, it's a good chance he could be ranked high. He played really well for Tennessee when he was healthy.
This actually brings up an interesting question that I hadn't thought of. Are you watching or have you watched the SEC show on Netflix?
What do you think I'm going to do after this show, man? This is my life. This is SEC football. It's all I care about. Like, is it good?
I don't know. I'm debating whether I'm going to watch it. That's the thing. I think I'm not as well versed.
I think with college football, the best three conferences are the SEC, Big Ten, and ACC. Those are like the three that you should always pay attention to. If you want to be a sicko, the Big 12 is kind of for the sickos. Like that's like the AEW of college football, where it's just like it's very inconsistent football. You don't know what's good about it or what's great because like 1 week Colorado's the best team, and then the next week Arizona's the best team, and then the next week Texas Tech is the best team. So it's just very inconsistent. Then we have the Pac-2 / Mountain West. Mountain West, a lot of teams are going to go to that Pac-2 to make it the Pac-12 again. Mm-hmm. That's football after dark. That's where if you really want to be a loser, like you want to piss off Colleen, you tell him sorry. You tell her sorry, Colleen, sorry, I can't go to bed. Gotta watch Fresno State versus Hawaii. And she's like, what?
Yeah. I'm sure she'd be thrilled by that.
Yeah, I gotta go watch UNLV versus Utah State. It's a good game, big game, and stuff like that. That's where you're watching those games and stuff, but. Yeah, I think it's just more like SEC and Big Ten. I think that's the consensus. Those are 1 and 2 when it comes to like, depending on your bias. Like if you think Big Ten's better than SEC, SEC has kind of changed how it's played. Big Ten has always been the same, where it's run the ball, traditional football, low scoring, gritty, intense, especially because of the weather. That's why people make fun of the fact that SC, UCLA went there. Oregon made sense because Oregon's kind of built like that now, but USC and UCLA, it's like, bro, you guys are going to force California kids to go play in Michigan? Like that's hilarious. Like you're, and it's like the most like not like manly California city. It's
I do want to see if I can get to a Northwestern game, only because I know they're building. We've driven by it that the new stadium for Northwestern. So it looks cool.
Well, because like it's also probably the cheapest Big Ten ticket you can get.
Yeah,
like you can go watch.
I can drive to the stadium. So
yeah, you can watch like them get their ass kicked by Ohio State and be like, oh, cool, I get to see Caleb Downs live. Chase was right; he's so amazing and stuff. But I'm
more the offense guy. I'm in it for the Jeremiah Williamses of the world.
But SEC and Big Ten, that's like the conferences you should pay attention to, and then ACC is always it's been Clemson's for like the last like 5 years. Like there's been teams that popped up that have been trying to compete with Clemson. Like Louisville had a little bit trying to compete with Clemson.
SMU, Georgia, right?
SMU just joined the ACC last year, so I can't say for years they've been trying to nip at Clemson because they pretty much because SMU they had the death penalty. Last year was the first year out of the death penalty for them, so they were able to actually do stuff, and they have really rich boosters. They could actually build up to be a really, really good program. Like the programs I tell people to watch are like SMU, Texas Tech. I'm big onto Oregon State just because Oregon State was able to.
I remember you talking about this, yeah.
Because the transfers they were able to get. It's like a team like Oregon State should not be getting a guy like Malik Murphy, who broke a touchdown record for Duke last year. And it felt like he was going to be Duke's quarterback for the future. Or if Malik Murphy was going to go to a team, you would think, oh, yeah, this guy that just threw for 26 touchdowns, he's going to go to a Big Ten team that needs a quarterback or an SEC team that needs a quarterback to compete for a national title. He goes to, in his junior year, he goes to a Pac-2 team that has to literally win almost every game to even sniff the playoffs. And even if they win their game, and keep in mind, Oregon State, they have like the worst starting schedule ever. They have to play Cal week 1, which is not an easy win. Cal is a tough team. They have to play Stanford week 2, which, no, not Stanford, Fresno State week 2. Then afterwards, on the road against Texas Tech, who I've been hyping up and saying they're going to win the Big 12, on the road, and not when it normally is played during Thanksgiving week, on the road, week 4 against fucking Oregon. That's an insanity. And then another Big 12 school that's getting a lot of hype, and a lot of people are thinking, oh, they're in the Big 12. This is their second year in the Big 12. In Houston, they got to go play Houston. So it's like, it's just, it's like a death row for this team. And it's like, they got a lot of good transfers. So those are teams to look at. It's just like those small, like teams with money and stuff. Like that's why I feel like Tech, Oregon, because of what they can do, Oregon State, SMU. God, why am I drawing a blank on this one team? There's another team that like I think like if they figure out NIL, they're just going to be unstoppable just because of what they can do recruiting wise too, because of the town. Oh, Duke. It's Duke. It's actually Duke. Like if Duke figures out NIL, and it's harder for them because they're a private institution and everything.
Right.
But if Duke and NC State can figure out, NC State's a little bit easier because I think they're public. Yeah, they're public.
Yeah.
Those two teams can be really, really good in the landscape of college football moving forward just because where they're located, the NIL money that they can produce because of their alumni base. Because, like, the bigger your school, the more alumni you have, the more money that you have, and the more rich people that you have to donate to the school. That's why a team like Texas State, so there's like a small little team, they're called Texas State. Their mascot's the Bobcats. They currently play in the Sun Belt, which is like one of the worst divisions in all.
Yeah, I know the Sun Belt.
They're moving to the Pac-12 next year. They're moving to the Pac-12. That's going to be a team to watch, and especially because of how and they produce as much graduates as the University of Texas.
Oh wow!
So it's like that's the thing about them. They have a lot of students, a lot of graduates, a lot of opportunities for one of these people to be a billionaire that just wants to say like, I want to make Texas State into the greatest school of all time. So that's a team to watch, and also too, they can recruit. They're going to have more of a pipeline to these California kids, to all these other kids than some other schools, because they're going to be playing in the Pac-12 where that's mostly been, like where California kids grew up and want to play and stuff. Like a lot of California kids are not going to be like, oh yeah, I'll go to Stanford and Cal, because Stanford and Cal play in the ACC. And they're going to tell these California kids, you got to go travel. You're you're going to be away from home a lot of the time. There's not a lot of home game opportunities for your family to go to and stuff. And then same with SC and UCLA playing in the Big Ten. Besides Oregon, it's like, yeah, go travel all the way across the country and go watch your kid get their ass kicked by Ohio State. Sounds like a great time, right? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, a team like Texas State, if done correctly, they could be an absolute monster in college football. And it doesn't matter that they're in the Pac-12. That'll play into their factor. But, yeah, there's a lot of interesting teams with college football and stuff. But I think Texas Tech, they're going to be the team where it's just like, they have Mahomes. They have Mahomes money. They have ugly-ass Mahomes jerseys, too. It's so disgusting. It's like, and they have his logo. It's like the ugly M. Like, it's like a Spider-Man logo. It's like,
Fuck him, man.
Well, guys, that has been our preview for the AFC West and the NFC West. And that only leaves one region of the country left, right?
Sure.
The NFC and the AFC North will be back next week to talk about those, and I think we'll see how we feel about doing Hard Knocks, because I know I'll watch it on the weekly thing. But if you wanted to do the wait for 3 episodes or 4 episodes or whatever the case you want to wait for, we can do the review whenever it fits with what you're doing. So we want to thank you guys for tuning in. As always, remember, take care of yourselves and each other. Chase, let the people know where they can find you.
Yeah, you guys been following me on X at ChaseOliver68, AT Point Network. I did my own podcast, the Chillin' with Chase podcast. That will go live on the AT Point Network. But if you want to support my own channel, it is Chillin' with Chase. I'll be uploading the podcast clips in there in case you don't want to hear me ramble talk for an hour. But there will be individual clips posted throughout the week. But also the full podcast is on that channel too. So go show some love and support.
What do you cover on Chillin' with Chase?
Just wrestling, bro. You know, I can't talk about anything else, sadly. Like I'm just forced to be a prisoner to this stupid company and this stupid wrestling and stuff because YouTube hates when channels try to be courageous and do something outside of their comfort zone. Well, but I do like talking about wrestling. I have a lot of knowledge in it, so it's easy to talk about for, like an hour. I can do that by myself.
Maybe I'll join you for one of those. Let me know when
next. It's early in the morning, bro. Like, I wake up early. I'm like, it's like 11 Eastern, like 10 Central your time.
Yeah, I can pop in for one of those. Let me know when you want me to join.
Yeah, I'll let you know. I'll tell you when I'm not talking about AEW, so that way you can avoid that episode. Because I don't get a chance to talk about my favorite company all. I can say that stupid.
Well, alrighty, guys, that'll do it for us for this week. Until next time, we will catch you guys later.
My boy